Ready?
Check it out. We are live.
We're live. We're live. I'm excited, dude. It's going to be a great show tonight. We got two guests on. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, pumped. All right, guys. Well, welcome to episode 124 of the Drag Driver Pete Show presented by Summit Racing. Hot Rod Drag Week records. We're finally going over those in detail. Redwood Rally, we're going to go over the winners with Jesse Adams, the co-creator and founder of Redwood Rally, and Mr. Jesse Fox is going to be on, dude. I'm so excited about this. I love Jesse. He is a good friend, and we're going to talk about his 2,900-mile trip from Hot Rod Drag Week to Redwood Rally in his V8 swapped Volvo we call Benny. So, Mr. Eric, please hit that intro. Let's get into this thing, dude.
All right, let's go.
All right, guys, welcome to episode 124 of the Drag Driver Pete Show, presented by Summit Racing. I'm Mike Narks, the host of this show you are watching here, and the host of the news on the Saturday mornings. And, dude, I'll tell you, I've been crazy busy with Drag Week records. That's taken me like half a damn day. The Dragon Driver World Championship, which we're going to talk about here in just a minute. Lord have mercy, you people. It's wild the amount of folks that are now on this list for eligible points and stuff. So that's kind of fun. I'm going to actually post the entire list and everybody's points tomorrow. How about that?
That'll be awesome.
Yeah, dude, that's man. I'm ready to bring some heat over, and as we wind down the season. And Mr. Eric White, my right hand man, right here. What you got going on, dude? Tell them what's up.
I am Eric White, co-host of the show and the news. Right now, been kicking butt and got all of day one of the circuit photos uploaded. So, excuse me, day two is already I think I got a couple more to edit, and day two is finished. So I should start posting them. Hopefully, we'll get those started tomorrow. So, man, it's photos this year have been wild. Like, and that doesn't even include getting them up on the website for purchase yet. That's still a whole nother process I got to get into. Yeah. So remind me, I'm not doing 3 events in 1 month next year. That's too much.
I'm not going to let you do that. I'm not going to let you do
it. That's what I've been doing.
Dude, it's wild to think like that you spent 20 something days in June at a Drag and Drive event. Like that's how busy Drag and Drive is, man.
Yeah, I think it was 20 some days because we had 7 days for Mega Week, 6 days for Six Summer, and then what do we have? 4 days, 5 days for the circuit.
Yeah, so, 4 days for sure, 5 if you include your travel days, and so you can have 2 days each one of those you just listed for having back and forth and all that stuff. We are going to spread it out some more. I don't want to talk about next year's plans yet because we have a huge plan for next year, but I have said in the past that our plan is to hit events that we haven't hit before. And dude, if you think about it, like, listen, we started this 2022, 2023, something like that. 2022, actually. We would have never thought there'd be this many events. Never. No. It would have never been there. Tom Wilhelm here talking about gonna miss seeing this at Smokies, man. I'm telling you, that's one event that was big time on my list. But hey, your daughter only goes to one homecoming a year. So I am sad we are going to miss Six Smokies. Maybe if they do that again in 2027 or something like that, we'll be back. But that's the struggle we have, man. I love it. It's a problem. Yeah. It's a good problem to have, right?
Yep. Shout out to a coworker here, Joey Pop it in here. What's up?
What up? All right, well, let's get to this thing, guys. Listen, you know the deal. You are our race car friends. We love you. We appreciate you. We do all the fun stuff because you make all of this possible. Your comments and shares and all that kind of stuff make this world go round over here at Drag Driver Pete, and we appreciate it. But I'm asking you right now, hit the share button right now. Tonight's show is a good one. Having Jesse on from Redwood Rally is going to be a huge win. It's going to be a ton of fun. And having Jesse Fox on from 3G Video talking about this crazy cross country adventure he went on is going to be awesome. And thank you to our sponsors who make all of this and everything that's coming possible. It's going to be absolutely wild. Summit Racing, Deech Works, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil. Man, those guys have been everywhere. Have you seen all the extra stuff they've been doing? It's been crazy. Howard's Cams, J-Wire Solutions, AFCO Racing Products, Performer Built Transmissions, Car Change 3D. These sponsors right here, up to, dude, they just like it's awesome to go through and see all the stuff that they post. PowerTube TV, WAF Racing, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk Classifieds. Y'all, if you're spending some money, if you're trying to do some shopping, hit those guys up first. Let's see what they got going on and go from there. Well, you know, Summit Racing Speed Legacy, you know, began in 1968. One-man startup. One dude in a basement under a bakery. How cool is that? Now, World Speed Shop, 4 huge warehouse facilities, 200 plus catalog editions, which your boy has been on the cover of, has shot the cover of for that. They feel your passion. They save you money, deliver fast, and offer top-notch customer service for more than 1,500 brands. You guys got to download the Summit Racing mobile app for easy access to speed parts right there on your phone all day long. And you can find them on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, plus the On All Cylinders podcast. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. They do all kinds of stuff all the time, everywhere. From humble origins to the social media lane, Summit Racing stands by your need for speed. You can find everything at, well, I'm not going to tell you where to find everything yet because we're going to get into that in just a minute because a big step has been made forward with the Drag Driver Pete and Summit Racing brand stuff. So let's talk about some Drag and Drive World Champion points updates. I mentioned earlier I'm going to be releasing the full list tomorrow. I fully expect there are mistakes on it. There's 2,000 names on this list. It is too hard to figure out. Some of them have spaces in the wrong spot. It's too hard to figure all that stuff out in the beginning. So once you see your name on that list, please let me know if it is correct with the event count, which I'm going to have on there. And I'm going to have your eligible points on there for the Drag and Drive World Champion stuff. So that is going to be out tomorrow. But with 3 eligible events left, can someone take the lead? Okay, when I say that, does that make you think Bryant Goldstone is leading?
Kind of a little bit.
He is. How crazy is this, dude? He has come from behind. He has competed in 5 events this year. Obviously, with the world champion points deal, you can only count your top 3. But with his second place finish at Drag Week, he has now moved into the lead, tying Randy Seward's 112 points. They both have 112 points, which you and I have talked countless hours about this whole thing. You know, how can an 850 car win it? Well, an 850 car to win this has to be a total badass. They have to win classes. They have to reset records. They have to do all of that kind of stuff. Well, Randy Seward did all of that. He has completely maxed out every point he could ever get in this year, right? He's reset records at every event. He's won the class at every event. He's been to 4 actually, but we only count 3. Has finished 3 events. 112 points total. They are tied, but because obviously Bryant Goldstone is a faster car, he will move in. That is the tiebreaker if they ended up at the same points. I never would have thought we would be in that situation. Now, there is still Southeast Street Meet that is in the U.S. We've got 2 other ones across the world. Bryant Goldstone could go down there and reset a record and win the class and take it again as a 3rd time. But this is crazy. It blows my mind that we're right here. I mean, he literally tied him for points. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, excited about that. Obviously, Randy Seward has the 850 points championship deal just about locked up. There's probably a way somebody could get there in that 850 to 999 class. I haven't done that deep of math yet to see who's done 2 events that are both quarter mile that fall within that grouping. That's another one of my plans. I mean, again, you're talking like just to figure that out, 10 or 12, 15 hours worth of work just to go, oh, well, wait, if this guy goes to Southeast Street Meet, yeah, but he went to Big Sky Race Week. So then his 8th mile, you can only count one 8th mile event. So it's wild. It's wild. It comes down to right here. We may be looking Southeast Street Meet, and then Brian Goldstone go down there, reset a record in a very fast car, and take home the victory. Who knows? By points total. Right now, he's in the lead. So congratulations to Brian Goldstone. This is brand new stuff that came out today. I haven't even posted about this yet because I finished it up a couple hours ago. And truly, congratulations to Randy Seward, bro. He is an animal. Did you see any of the posts last week? We made some videos about his blowing the motor up and all that stuff. Did you see he made 480 passes on those rods in that engine?
I did not see that. That is crazy.
30,000 street miles.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about a guy that just gets down. That's the car that does it. Like crazy, dude. Crazy.
Yeah.
So
that's what I hope to be able to do with my car one day.
I mean, and right. So like, that's the whole thing is like, he built a car that is just dead reliable. Right. And I mean, he drove that thing forever, won 6 of 7 events in a row. I mean, just absolutely crazy. So back to Brian Goldstone, he scored 39 points at Rocky Mountain Race Week, the Group 1 of Mega Week, because we didn't count both events in the same. You couldn't count both events for points. So Group 1 of Mega Week, he scored 39 points, 38 points at Six Summer, and then 35 points at Hot Rod Drag Week. Randy Seward, also 112 points earned, 38 points at Big Sky Race Week because he reset the record for the class, 37 points at Rocky Mountain Race Week. He did Group 1. It didn't matter. He didn't do both groups, so it didn't matter. And then 37 points at Sick Week because he reset the record in his class down there. It's crazy. It's crazy. If anybody was going to chase it and do well at it, it was Randy, and he did it. So it's freaking badass.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep. And then should have Redwood Rally stuff done by next week. I'm going to have those added to the list. That gives us like, I don't know, 10 events, 9 events, something like that, that are world champion points eligible that have been completed. And then that goes right into Six Smokies, which is another event. And then we end the season with Street Machine Drag Challenge and Southeast Street Meet. So Street Machine Drag Challenge, probably not going to have anybody that is going to do well enough there to change the standings of the top 3 or the 850 or 10-0, but you never know. Somebody may ship their stuff or fly over. It follows the racer, so it doesn't follow the car. So it follows the racer, so somebody could fly over to there and reset some stuff and go from that. So anyways, just pretty cool. I figured I would update everybody on the points. So congratulations to those 2 guys. 112 points split between Bryant Goldstone and Randy Seward for the top 2 spots in the Drag and Drive World Champion points system that will be awarding at PRI.
In only like 2.5 months.
Oh my God, bro. Well, I'm not ready. 70 something days, man. I follow Michael Good on LinkedIn, and he posted something last week that was 80 days. And I was like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I am, but you know how it goes. So, well, while you're shopping over there on Summit Racing, make sure you grab your Drag Driver Pete merch. You've got shirts and hoodies and big brim hats over there. So throw one of those into your things. I saw they had some tall shirts. So if you're a taller person, they actually had those on sale, which is not normal for tall people. They don't usually get a sale price on any kind of merch. So they had them over there listed at summitracing.com or jump in right here. Drag Driver Pete. This is what I was talking about when we opened the show. It's a big deal, y'all. Summit Racing has added us as an affiliate. So all the stuff we talk about with Summit Racing, I'm begging you, I'm asking you, I'm pleading with you. Here's how this is going to work. So nothing changes at all with anything that you're shopping. The only thing we ask is that when you do jump over to Summit, and this link will be available everywhere else as well, but you follow this link, you go in there, you buy something, you end up helping us. Basically, a percentage of, listen, they tried to tell me what all was on there, but it's, dude, I don't know, several, like 10 or 15,000 parts. I was like, I'm not going to try and remember all that and all that kind of stuff. So when you're shopping at Summit, grab this link that's over in the chat. Just click on it, takes you to the summitracing.com website like normal. And when you're shopping and you buy stuff, we may get a cut of that, like a small percentage, 1 to 5%, depending on the part and product and all that kind of stuff. But again, it's too hard to try and figure out which products. So we're not going to send you any direction. Hey, buy this turbo instead of this turbo. None of that. Just when you're over there, just hit that. We're going to make this link easily available. We would appreciate it. It's a very easy way um, for you to help us without it really getting in your way is really probably the easiest way. There's no codes to remember or anything like that. So this is pretty awesome. And I think it really kind of helps a step in the right direction for more stuff with Summit if this works out well. So thank you all to our race car friends. Thank you so much to Summit for providing this opportunity. I mean, who knows? This could be $20. This could be $200 a month. I really don't know. So we're going to find out as time goes on, and we just would appreciate any support that you guys can possibly give by doing that. So
I think we can probably add that link to the website.
yeah, 100%. We're going to add it to the website and then a pinned thing on Facebook as well. So it'll be very easy to find. That's my whole goal is how do you make this easy? So you're not trying to come back through and find the chat and all that kind of stuff. So thanks again to Summit. The team over there really take care of us. Anytime we're at an event, they're trying to help us. They're giving us a spot to stay in the shade a lot of times. They've offered up the truck for me to sleep in. I just hadn't made that commitment yet. So, hey, that's the way it goes. I don't want to sleep on the RV couch, but big thanks to Summit for doing this.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right. Well, let's jump into some Driven Racing Oil event updates, dude.
All right. Driven Racing Oil is the performance engine oil that can do it all. GP1 is the ultimate oil for any race or performance application, whether you're launching hard at the drag strip, enduring the extreme heat of off-road and circle track, or even pushing limits in top fuel drag boats and demo derbies, winning racers choose GP1. It's compatible with engines from classic hot rods all the way to cutting-edge race machines. GP1's unique surface cling and high zinc formulation ensures superior wear protection, particularly for those flat tappet camshafts, while also solving issues like cylinder washout with methanol and ethanol fuels. It's crafted from the legendary Bradford, Pennsylvania base oil, then enhanced with state-of-the-art additive packages. GP1 offers the best in protection and performance. And you guys know drivenracingoil.com is where you can go to pick up any products that they offer, oil or any one of the other cleaning or waxes that they offer. But use code DDR10 for a 10% discount on anything on the website. And you can follow them at Driven Racing Oil on Facebook and Instagram and find out what event they're going to be at, because they may be at an event near you, and you can just swing by there, meet the people at Driven, great people, and pick up products right on site.
Oh, yeah. Well, tell us about some of the events that are coming up, man.
Yeah, so next event is going to be Six Smokies. We have 3 events coming up in October. That first one kicking off October 13th through 19th, which is the Six Smokies at Rocket City Dragway.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that we actually have 2 weeks between events. So you have Redwood Rally that ended, Saturday, a few days ago, and now it's the 13th. Dude, it feels weird to not be trying to figure out and find some photos and stuff like that.
Right. And then next event we've got is the Buckeye Skips. That is October 16th through 18th, and that's at Coonley Motorsports Park. So this is their first year for this event. I think they said 130-ish cars registered, so that's huge for them.
Yeah, that'll be a big deal. And they've done a great job promoting that event too.
Absolutely. And then finishing out the month of October is the Wild West Drag and Dash. And this one is at Concho Valley Dragway, October 23rd through the 26th. So kind of towards the end of the month there. That is our 3 events for October.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one too, because this is one that is a long time drag and drive racer. They've done Rocky Mountain Race Week. They've done Drag Week. They've done, I think they did Sick Week as well. Yeah, we love to see events that are run by racers because I feel like if you've done a couple drag and drives, you know what to be looking for. You know the stuff there. Plus, Porsche sent me a message a couple months ago and said, "Hey, I know we can't do it this year, but man, we would love to be a part of the points program for next year, points eligible event. So bring it on. We'd love to have another event. Sign up in that, and that also means they're going to be at least 4 days worth of racing. So that's a plus. So get in
Yeah,
now. I'm sure they're going to do early registration for next year for folks that came this year. Perfect. And then, I thought I was going to put it right here, but the Hard Ass 1000, bro, got bad news. I don't think it's happening. We talked about this a little bit last week. Was that I had not really heard anything or seen anything. Well, I saw a post. Um, Somebody was asking about it, and one of the comments said, "Hey, we're just having such a hard time getting tracks to lock down that we're looking at maybe moving it to March." So again, don't know.
yeah.
Hopefully they get it figured out. So
So that leaves 7 events for the rest of this calendar year. So 7 events for the rest of 2025.
man, it's wild to think, dude. Like 49 total events for the year, and we're down to the final 7.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, especially being here in the Midwest, to think that 7 events are still happening in the next 2 months, which is, kind of crazy.
Yeah, you look at for the folks that are on the podcast, just jump over to YouTube or Facebook and look at the video right now. It's 21 minutes in. You look at this, dude. There's so much room for growth here. There's so much room for growth.
Oh yeah,
So
there's
it's exciting.
plenty of areas on that map that don't have anything near them. So
Yep. Yeah, not even near, and that's one of the big things we've talked to several. I talked to 2 promoters this week actually about potential promoters this week about events kind of in their area and what a weekend event would look like, and how that
mhm.
works. So if you got any questions, man, let's run through it. I'd love to talk to anybody and everybody. We'll help on this side as much as we can with promotion and ideas and stuff like that. So again, thanks to Driven for the support. We love those guys. I think they're probably going to be around Six Smokies at least for a few days because they're based in Memphis. Six Smokies is going to be running, Nashville, Southeast Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, all that kind of stuff. So be a good one to keep up with. And while you're walking by the Driven truck, if you're at Six Smokies, make sure you drop them a line saying thanks for them supporting us over here at Drag Driver Pete.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, now we're going to have some fun because let me read this J-Wire Solutions deal, and then we're going to jump into Mr. Jesse Fox, who's on the roadside somewhere at a gas station. I see him backstage right now. So J-Wire Solutions is expert car and marine wiring solutions you can trust. J-Wire Solutions can wire and plumb your hot rod, your race car, or your drag and drive car. Plus, they offer products that make your driving experience better. And I'm just going to go through. There's a ton of stuff on jwiresolutions.com. No, I always talk about this blinker module, but dude, it really is a big part of drag and drive because it makes your car act like it makes your race car act like your normal daily driver. But then he's got a ton of stuff. Like, dude, he's got stuff for snowblowers. Did you know that? He's got stuff for snowblowers, like a plug and play harnesses, all kinds of cool stuff. So JWire Solutions, jump over there, jwiresolutions.com. See what all he's got going on up there. And then Ralph Foy, bro, bring it on. You've done enough of these things. You know what's going on. Let's talk, man. We're glad to help. All right, Mr. Jesse Fox, bringing you on, sir. Right here. Hang on just a second. Let me remove Benny so we can talk to you, dude. Where you at? What are you doing?
Well, I'm in Illinois. Almost. Oh my goodness, it keeps doing this. I'm sorry. My phone's freaking out on me. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in Danville, Illinois. I'm only about an hour away from home, which is really weird. I'm headed home. But yeah, so we've been having a good trip back across the country. Just getting done with Redwood Rally out in Oregon. Me and John popped up and caught Washington, the state up there. Saw Seattle for like half an hour, and then started heading back home. So yeah.
What time were you in Seattle?
Oh, I think we got there at 8:30 p.m. because
That's
the
awesome. I
Space
saw it
Needle
was
closed
super
at like
dark.
9 or something. Oh,
Hey, that's all right, dude.
so
That is super cool, man. I'm excited about that. The trip you took, bro. What an awesome thing. But now you said being home. You were home just the other day.
Yeah, for about
7 hours.
it was like 6-7 hours, something like that. Yeah, that was we had some stuff. That was a rough day. I don't know, but we can talk
Yeah.
about that later. But
Yeah.
So on the way back across the country from drag week to Redwood, I did stop home for the night. Oh my god, why
Yeah.
is it doing this? We stopped there for the night. The guys from Big Sky Race Week were running with us, Austin Walsh
Mhm.
and his dad, and then John was with us, and we all stopped at my house on the way through. We drove from Maryland and stopped there. It was about a third of the way across. We left at 2 p.m. or 2:30 from the track, and we
Mhm.
made it to my home at 5 a.m.,
Oh,
5 or 6, something like that. And
dude.
then the guys went to sleep. We all got a little bit of sleep. We left. I don't know why it's doing that. We left around my house around noonish, and we had to make some stops, get some work done on Austin's car. It wasn't my car that we worked on. It was weird.
Nice.
And and then we just kind of bombed up past there, and that was the short day of driving. We only drove like 8-9 hours, something like that day. So I think we stopped at 2, and then got about 4 hours of sleep that night. Got up at 6 a.m. and where'd we end that day? That day we ended on the Salt Flats. That's right. So we went
Yeah.
from Lincoln, Nebraska, is where we ended, and then went to the Salt Flats, and then spent the night at Salt Flats. Then got up the next morning and drove to Oregon. Um, which that was pretty interesting. That was first time I'd ever really driven that far. After Dragon Drive and all that.
Mhm.
Me and John were literally both seeing double as we were driving the last couple hours. It was a little sketchy, but we made it to Medford for the first day. Uh, well, we were technically not the first day. We weren't there for the check-in and test and tune
Yeah.
day just because we didn't
Dude,
have time. But
couldn't make that work. All. I mean, listen. How many miles was it total?
I'm a little over 10,000 in this trip right now.
God.
So
That's
in
wild.
the last 2.5 weeks, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a little over 10,000. So.
But it was like 2980 or something like that.
Oh yeah. The just the one way across was, it was 2,900 miles just one way. So
Oh my gosh, dude. You're an
yeah,
animal. You are an animal.
I'm
Um,
exhausted. I can tell you that.
I bet.
well, I do want to say you did a heck of a job, dude. I really enjoyed I enjoyed the daily kind of updates and stuff like that. Like you know, I don't want to call it a vlog style, but you were doing like shorts or not shorts, stories and stuff. And dude, I was loving it, man.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, I was trying to. That was kind of something new we've been trying is doing a little more on Facebook.
Hmm.
Honestly, Facebook was like kind of the thing. Oh, Facebook and Instagram. I've been kind of leaving them out. We've just been focusing on the YouTube stuff for
Hmm.
probably the past year, and we'd like put albums of some of the photos and stuff on Facebook and just kind of use it as a marketing thing to
Hmm.
tell the racers, hey, like we have photo albums and stuff. But we actually started making some content specifically for Facebook and just kind of showing those adventures, kind of the behind the scenes of our. Guys, I don't know why this is doing this. I'm so sorry, but uh,
Well, Tom's the only one getting dizzy. I'm not getting dizzy over here. I'm good.
bro. But yeah, no. So started doing a lot of Facebook stuff, and it kind of exploded over the
Hmm.
last couple of weeks because I think we started at like 1,900 followers on Facebook, and it'd been there. It'd been 1,900 for year and a half, 2 years, something like that. And the last 2 weeks, now we're at 4,500 followers on
Man,
Facebook. So
that's
it's like,
awesome, dude.
yeah, so that was really cool. It's exciting whenever you see something working. So it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
okay, yeah, we definitely gotta do more of that type of stuff. And I'm thinking about different stuff that I want to put out on Facebook just to kind of keep that content rolling. But
Yeah.
obviously, we want to keep going on the YouTube and doing all that. I got a couple of videos. I got a lot of videos set back that haven't come out on the YouTube channel that I'm just like, I need to get time to edit them, and I want to make them really good for everybody. But now they're all out of order, and it's not. It's so I'm trying to figure out how we're gonna
Hey,
make
the
everything
the
work.
cool thing is, dude, whenever you put stuff up, people are gonna watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's what I've come to realize. That's the way it works.
Yeah.
They're going to watch it whether they want to or not.
There we go. Yeah,
So
so we're
how,
just gonna keep throwing stuff out there, and I'm just gonna do this vertical now because it's just being
Yeah,
like that.
do it.
Um,
so
so yeah,
how
it's been a really good trip. Wasn't not expecting to have the turnaround and drive immediately all the way back home, but it's working out. So we're
Yeah.
getting there. This is my third day in a row driving at least 700 miles. So
wow.
it's yeah,
Did you run into
yep.
any troubles
But I
along
only
the
got an
trip
hour
at
to go,
all?
so we're good.
I think he's on
We're
a
all
bit of a
set.
delay. What,
Yeah,
can you hear Eric?
I cannot hear Eric.
Oh,
That'd be
that's
why.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eric was asking, how did the trip go? Were there any troubles or anything like that?
Oh, no, it actually went a lot smoother than we kind of anticipated. John's car had more issues than mine, which is weird. And it really wasn't anything. It just started throwing some codes on the way back. It was saying that there was like something wrong with the the throttle position sensor or some vacuum leak or something. But it
Hmm.
wasn't actually running bad. It was just like throwing the code, then it would just go away. So it was like he was actually fine. My car, the only thing we've been dealing with it, which we dealt with drag week, was the overheating issue, but we kind of just decided to ignore it, and it's been fine. Um,
Interesting.
so, I don't know. It has been getting warm every once in a while, and I'll just slow down a little bit, and it kind of cools off enough that I mean, when I say cools off, it's running 230 degrees, but we're just going to call that fine because it hasn't blown up yet. So
Dude,
it's fine.
it's fine. It's all fine.
Yeah.
Well, I know people have questions, so let me ask this. What kind of mileage does this bad boy get?
Bro, it's 17 miles to the gallon. So a little
Yeah, that's
small
not
block
bad.
Chrysler in it. No, it's not too bad at all. There are times that, it gets worse and gets a little bit better, but it's carburetor. I just let it kind of do its thing. Honestly, I probably should rejet it as we're going through different areas, but like, I mean, we literally went across the country and I haven't touched the carburetor. So like, it's fine. I mean, it
Yeah,
Right.
works.
it is fine. Man, that's so
Yeah.
crazy. Well, dude, you saw some stuff. Let's talk about some favorite stops along the way.
Yeah, so we didn't have a lot of time for stops, but we kind of made sure to put a couple in there because there were some places John hadn't seen yet, and then there were some places that I wanted to stop. And the picture you got up there is one of the big boys, steam locomotive. If you have watched any of my content or me at all, I grew up loving trains. Like that was my first passion was trains, and I still very much enjoy them. So one of my
Hmm.
goals in life is to see all of the big boys in person. There's only 8 remaining, and so yeah, we got to stop and see that one. It was one that I hadn't got on my list yet, and it was right there in Cheyenne, Wyoming, which I've been there before. I've been within half a mile or a quarter mile of that locomotive, but just never actually put two and two together that it was there and made a stop. So we went ahead and made that stop and really enjoyed that. I mean, again, we were there for maybe half an hour, like just long
That's
enough
awesome.
to go up and get some pictures, and then park Benny up there and just, you know, try to get Benny involved. Another one is the Salt Flats. I mean,
Yeah,
come on,
yeah.
it's the Salt Flats. There's something special about that, and John had never been there. Obviously, I've been there a couple times, but it was one of those like seeing sunrise out on the Salt Flats is just a very special, somber. There's just something about it, It's one of those you and nature, and you can kind of feel the presence of God there, and it's just it's really cool, man. So just being out there and just knowing that that's the place that people built these machines to go so fast, and the
Right.
heritage and everything. It's amazing.
One
So
of
that
the
was obviously really good.
one of the stories I think I was watching, or one of the reels on Facebook, you guys were talking about just how quiet it was out there.
Oh, dude, it's unreal. I mean, I've been out, like I said, I've been out there before, and I've had the opportunity, and I've been very blessed to be able to be out there and be media for the actual races out there for Speed Week, and I got to hop in one of the cars and go down track where you hear a lot of the drivers talk about after they finish their run on the Salt Flats, they're the only ones down there. I mean, because they're 12 miles away from where they started and where everybody's sitting at
Hmm.
the starting line watching them, and they pull their chutes. They pull off into the side where it's like the shutdown area, so they can get out of the way. It's like half a mile over, and they get out of the car. They're waiting for their team to get there, and they're all by themselves, and it's alone. And they talk about the silence. Well, like I said, I was very blessed to get into one of the safety trucks, to be able to pace some of the cars that were going through licensing and such. And they got down there, and we actually had to go down. The safety guy had to go down and sign off one of the sheets with them. So there was me, and then the safety guy and the driver, all down there. And I kind of walked away from the car so could get some pictures of it, but I also kind of just went away a little bit off of the car, and just to feel that silence is just, it's eerie, but it's also calming at the same time. I don't know if that makes any sense,
Interesting.
Oh
but
yeah.
it's just like if you have tinnitus, you just start hearing the ringing in your ears. Like that's all you hear because there's no animals, there's nothing out there. So it's just a weird feeling, right? But being out there with John, we were able to hop in his car, and we actually drove about 10 miles out and just stopped and got out of the car, and we could just sit there in that silence of just literally the middle of nowhere with nothing for miles, and you can literally just see miles around.
I'm in, Eric.
And
When are we going?
Right.
no, I highly recommend it if you get the opportunity to do it. It's so worth it, and then yeah,
The
that picture you got there, that's on the coast during Redwood Rally, so that
mm,
was really cool. Um, yeah,
yeah, I can't wait. Jesse's going to be on here later. Jesse Adams of Redwood Rally, and we're going
yeah.
to talk about some of the stuff. And dude, that's another one on my list. I should have went this year, but man, I just couldn't make the back to back like that. June was hard on me, and it wasn't nearly as much as what Eric did.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's not easy, that's for sure. Uh,
Well, tell us about your thoughts on Redwood Rally. What
oh
was
yeah,
it fun? Was it awesome? What's up?
yeah. So it was a lot of fun. As you know, I go to a lot of these things. We're at a lot of the events, and I kind of get used to seeing the same people everywhere that we go. Not everywhere, but we have those
Hmm.
groups from the different areas. We've kind of got to know those Drag and Drive veterans. We know those people that are out there. Um, so when I show up to an event, normally I know about 80% of the people, or I've at least
Hmm.
seen them around. I may not have a personal relationship with them, but I've seen them. I know who they are. And then you got that 10, 20% that's new people that we're trying to get. Well, being out at Redwood, it was like 90% of them I didn't know. And there was 10% that we kind of vaguely knew. Uh, so that was really cool. Getting to meet all those new people, at least new to us. They'd maybe done Redwood for a couple years,
Hmm.
but because we hadn't been out there to meet them, we hadn't been on that side of the country. We didn't know who
Yeah.
they were yet. So getting to kind of meet them and then meet the new people that were there. There was a lot of first timers out. That was really good. It was exciting to uh, get that camaraderie with the people. And
Hmm.
then when we get the event started and we get out going, just the area was really cool. Again, new area. I'd never been to that state before. So we're traveling up there, getting to see brand new territories. Like I didn't realize half of Oregon's desert, like it's high desert, and like so
Yeah,
that's kind
I
of
wouldn't have
cool.
known that either. That's awesome.
Right, yeah. So like when we got in, we were coming on the way across. We were coming across the northern part of Nevada, and it's high desert and all that. And we get to Oregon, and it's like, well, I mean, obviously it's not just going to change at the border. It's just a man-made straight line across there. But when we go, I mean, we're driving a couple hours into Oregon before we started seeing all the trees that you expect. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. But just the vast difference in some of the areas out there is really cool. And it is actually way more of an abrupt change than what I thought it was going to be. It's like you're in the middle of a desert and then you just hit a line of trees and now you're in the middle of the forest. And it's like, oh, okay.
Interesting.
So that was really cool. Getting to
Yeah.
kind of map some of that area out, and that was a lot of fun.
Eric,
Um,
when we go, we need to like maybe fly into somewhere south and then drive up. Seems like.
yeah.
Right.
Well, one of the
Yeah.
tracks that they used this year was actually out on the high desert area.
Oh,
So
cool.
you do get to see part. We did get to see part of it on the route. We got to see Mount Hood. We went through there on one of the
Nice.
drives, which I was not expecting. The first drive, they took us down through the redwoods of Northern California, which we got to see some of the redwood trees, which is cool. And then it takes you over onto the Pacific Coast Highway of Oregon. So we got to drive up on the coast, which is mind blowing. We'd been out for Death Week a couple years ago on the PCH, but in SoCal,
Mm-hmm.
It's completely different once you get up. I mean, it is so gorgeous up there in the northern part. Getting to see the cliffs and all that. We got to see seals and, just a ton of crazy stuff out on the coast. And then the second day we raced at Coos Bay and then got back on the road. And the first half of that drive was again on the coast. We got 2 days of driving on the
Oh,
coast, which
man.
was fantastic. And then we got up and, you start having to make that turn to go inland again, and you're like, man, I don't want to get away from the coast because it's so cool, And it's like, man, the rest of the drives aren't going to be by the coast. We're not going to get to see anything cool. That was my mindset at it because I didn't know what else was up there to see. And then the next drive, we're going up Mount Hood, like on the side of a
Wow.
volcano, like so we get pictures of these guys coming around like up the mountain pass with the mountain up behind them. Some really cool places to take pictures, and it was like, okay, that's cool. So all the
Right.
drives had their redeeming. Oh, and then even on the fourth drive, we got to stop by a national park, Crater National Park, which was just also mind blowing. It's the top of a volcano that has a 2,000-foot lake on the top of it. Like it's 2,000,
Oh, wow.
and it's just this giant lake in the middle of a crater, and you're like, that's cool, So we got to kind of take a little diversion and see that, and got to take pictures of some of the race cars up there on the rim. So that was awesome. Yeah, so every drive had something really really cool in it, which doesn't happen a lot. Normally
Right.
there's like one or two dud drives, and there's like something really cool on the other ones, but like every drive had something really cool.
That's awesome.
And that's one of the things that I always look for in one of these events is
Mm-hmm.
like the area that you're going to be in. What are you going to see? Because I'm always thinking of the picture side. I'm a photographer. I love getting those really cool shots, seeing those really cool places, traveling. That's what I'm in it for. I love the racing. Don't
Mm-hmm.
get me wrong. And like we had some really fun tracks, some different situations that happened that was very unique. But so that was fun. But the whole trip in a whole was a lot of fun. It was definitely worth going out there. Um, yeah, it
Yeah.
was very unique.
Well, if you guys don't know, you can follow Jesse 3G Video. Dude, again, I love your content. You started out when you and I became friends. Your
Yep.
content was good.
Thank you.
I feel now it's only gotten better over time. So you do a great job. And how many miles did you say you're in on this trip?
This trip with Drag Week and Redwood, we're a little over. Well, yeah, I'm a little over 10,000 miles in the last 2.5 weeks.
Dude, that's
So
so cool, man.
That's
yeah,
wild.
Ah, that's so cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be home for about a week. We got to get some family situations taken care of. Got
Yep.
a lot going on there. But we're gonna get that taken care of, and then we're going right back out on the road for Six Smokies in like a week and a half. So
Dude, that's awesome.
we'll be right back at it.
Yeah. Well, all right. Listen, buddy. Thank you very much, man. I'll see you soon. I don't know if your and my path will cross again this year, but I'll send you a text tomorrow,
Ah,
let you know what I got going on, and we'll see if we can get connected up. But dude, I love you, man. It's awesome. Be safe, drive fast, all that kind of cool stuff.
there we go. Love you guys too. Have a great one. As always, guys, have a blessed night. I'll talk to you guys next time.
See ya.
Dude, how cool, man.
Yeah.
I really do. That guy is so awesome. He has been, I mean, one of the best. I don't know, just his stuff that he does is awesome, and he's been welcoming to me and everything. And he hits about 20 events a year, so
Yeah.
it is the Eric White right here on the screen with me. I'm appreciative that you're here tonight, sir. Well, y'all, that was the J-Wire Solutions segment. Let's jump into some fun stuff here. This is my jam. I love record stuff. I love data. And sometimes Eric has told me I get too nerdy with stuff. So I'll let you read the ad read and we'll jump into this.
So we're about to get real nerdy then, huh?
Real nerdy.
All right. I'm in for it tonight. Racers and high performance enthusiasts, are you ready to start your next engine build? If so, there is no better time than right now. Go check out Molly Motorsports all-in-one Power Pack piston kits. With over 1,200 applications, these kits come complete with pistons, rings, wrist pins, and clips, all designed to work together. Molly Motorsports Power Pack piston kits take out all of the guesswork, so that means there is no more trying to determine if a piston will need this ring to work with a certain cylinder size. Molly Motorsports did all of that engineering for you so you can get the part that matters, which is building you a power plant that leads to victory lane. Visit mollymotorsports.com for more details. And for our podcast listeners, Molly is spelled Mahle.
Perfect. Well, as we jump into some of this Hot Rod Drag Week records, just want to remind you guys, this is 20 years. This is the event that kicked off everything. Without Drag Week going the amount of years it did, 10 years by itself, and there was nothing else for 10 years, we wouldn't be sitting right here. It's crazy. It's changed my life. I tell you this all the time. And really, it changed it in the way that this is nerdy, dumb, just, man, it's goofy that I track this stuff like I do, but it's really been a ton of fun. And there's actually more thinking about it now. I didn't even go in and do all time record stuff. So, going to look at all that over the next couple days as well. So, 2025, I feel like probably proved to be the quickest year on record. 15 records were broken, different classes, mile an hour, ET, all that kind of stuff. What's wild to me is that some of them weren't reset by very much. It's actually like 1 mile an hour record that was set was only by like a few hundredths,
Oh,
but
wow.
it's still a record. So pretty cool to go through all that. So one thing I did want to give a pat on the back to, there are still 2 long-standing records, which is what we'll call it. So last year we saw a ton of these fall, but there are 2 records from 2015 that are still standing. B Gas, Chisholm and Chisholm and Stasiak, 9:52:06 in B Gas from 2015. Dude, that's 10 years ago. 10
Yep.
years. And then Super Street Big Block Power Adder, George Gallamore's 189 mile an hour average mile an hour from 2015 still stands. So
Wow.
pretty. Obviously, I don't have photos from 2015 to go in there and do that. So that's hopefully something we can do as the years go on, is grab people's content from those early years that we didn't attend.
Right.
So obviously, Ned Dunphy is probably the leading story from this because it's such a huge thing. So I'll let you run this record here.
Yep. Ned resets the ultimate class record, the overall drag week and all-time quarter mile average ET and mile an hour record. So a bunch there.
Yeah,
so
big stuff.
The new ET and mile per hour records. Ned Dunphy, the 2013 Dodge Viper, 6.1754 at 247.088 miles per hour. So that is the new record. The old record was Jeff Lutz in the 69 Camaro Pro Mod with a 6.1918 at 240.018 miles an hour. So we got, what did we get there? 7 mile an hour quicker.
Yeah, pretty big swing if you think about it. That's a big swing. 7 miles an hour average across the week. Now, single pass records, we didn't see that fall with mile an hour or ET, but the average records did. So you guys are going to hear kind of some of that as we go through there. As we go through these, what I focused on right now are averages. So it's always kind of the thing that matters the most, because you got to finish the week first, like Mike Galemi said. Feels like you probably got to finish the week for your record to count. Next up, Super Street Small Block Power Adder. Y'all know that's my jam. I love this class. The craziest thing in history happened. 2 dudes, 2 years apart, tie for their average ET. 5 days of racing, Eric. 5 days of racing for both guys. No rainouts or anything. And they tie down to the 10,000ths of a second. How does that even freaking happen? We talked about this last week, but Rick Steinke tied Dustin Trance's 2023 record of an 8.5048 average ET in the small street race small block power rider class.
Yeah, that is absolutely mind blowing, to be honest.
Down to the 10,000s, dude. Like, wild to me. Wild.
Yep. So next up is the Pro Street NA. So the new record was Scott Miller in the 1969 Ford Mustang, 7.9694 at 174.004 miles per hour.
Yeah, big swing.
that old record was Doc McIntyre in the Sea Red Camaro with an 8.033. So we went from an 8.033 down to a 7.9694. And the old mile per hour record was 167. And again, new mile an hour was 174.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's a big one.
So
And
another
what? Yeah,
7 mile an hour swing.
and what's crazy is like that's not very much difference between those two, but it took, I think, I, and I'll have to put this in the article, but Doc McIntyre's record, I think, was from like 2019 or 2020 or something like that, or 2021, somewhere in there. I can't remember, but pretty wild that he held both, because you're going to see some stuff where different people hold different records. Pro Street Power Adder. These are, kind of anyways, Pro Street Power Adder, new ET and mile an hour record, both set by Nick Reinhardt, 7:18:38 at 192.6 miles an hour. The old ET record was set by Glenn Hunter Jr. We know we love that car in 2021, 7.442. So dropped nearly 0.3 of a second on the average. Huge swing there. And the old mile an hour record was set by John Ferrone at 190.78. So new record 192.6, old record 190.7. So up several miles an hour there as well.
Yep. And the all motor small block new ET is Glenn Sheely this year with a 1962 Corvette, which is that gorgeous Corvette. 8.372 at 159.5 miles an hour. So in 2022, the old record was Jason Tabscott with an 8.696 at 155. So we went from 8.696 to an 8.372, and from 155 to 159.
Yeah, pretty impressive. Glenn Sheely's car just worked, man. It absolutely worked, and you can tell by the. Oh no!
You gotta send that
never
link.
send him the link. Okay, hang on. You take the next one here, and I'll send Jesse the link.
All right. So next up is the all motor big block. The new ET record is Philip Tobin in a 93 Corvette, 8.511 at 157. The old ET record was Michael Remines.
I think so.
Michael Remines in an 89 Mustang in 2023, 8.681. But in 2022, Michael also had the mile per hour record at 157. So he said the record in mile per hour in 22, and then the ET record in 2023, both broken this year by Philip Tobin.
Yeah, pretty awesome. Pretty awesome when you start thinking about all this stuff. Jesse, it's on its way.
And that mile per hour wasn't broken by much. It went from 157.1 to 157.5. So just barely.
Yep. Which one were you see? Street Race Big Block Power Adder. Next up for the record books, Randy Bellahar. Dude, this is a great story here. Love this guy. Big block on nitrous, one of the quickest nitrous cars that are out there. And also being street race means he's limited to 850. Dude goes out, runs a 854 with a 3 for his average for the week. The old ET record, James Carger, 79 Mustang in 2017. Dude, he knocked a 7-year-old record off there, 8-year-old record off with an 854.96. So we literally dropped 58 10,000ths of a second on the average. That's how tight this stuff is. That's what I was saying in the beginning. That's how tight this stuff gets.
Yeah. Street Race Small Block NA. The new record is Jeff Sayus at a 150.8 mile per hour. The old mile per hour record was David Hembry in 2024 at a 150.4. So again, 150.4 to a 150.8. Again, just barely squeaking in a new mile per hour record.
Yep. And then Gasser back up a little bit there. Gasser A gas class, new ET record set Wayne Baker knocked his old record off. He went to an 880 with a 6 this year at 155.3 miles an hour. The old ET record held by Wayne Baker was 8.831. So we dropped 20 something or 20 something thousandths. And then Mike Finnegan held the old mile an hour record at 155.23. So we only increased the mile an hour by 7 700ths. So mile an hour record. So pretty crazy, man. All that stuff is so tight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
pretty wild to
that's some
see.
records. And then I think Ralph was the one that reminded me that Scott Glassbrook was the one that reset the all-time 4-cylinder record. So that's my plan now, is to go through and look at all of those all-time records, all-time for all events type record, which is something that's even harder, because if you think we have, well, I'm not going to tell you how many people we have in Hot Rod Drag Week history, but because that's going to be a game we're going to put out tomorrow. But there's a lot of people that have driven a week-long drag and drive over the years. And so a lot of times, it's crazy. Somebody may have been really fast, but man, maybe that year was the year they didn't publish the cars that people raced in some events. So, it's wild all the time. So anyways, congratulations to all the new records. I will be talking about Scott Glassbrook and doing all that and all of the other records that come along with that. The hardest part is, like, we had a great question the other day on the Drag Week Facebook group, Drag Weekers Facebook group, that's asking, what's the quickest, like, Gen 1, traditional small block, be it small block Ford or small block Chevrolet. Man, like, you have no idea how hard that is to figure out, because then you have to go in and, oh man, I have to remember that so-and-so had a Gen 1 small block in their setup from 12 years ago. Well, now I don't have that data. If I didn't know them, I didn't have that. I got you. Ralph saying we were coming for that one next year. Yeah, bring it on, man. That'll be fun. All right. Well, cool. That's great time looking at all those records. My eyes were crossed for a little bit of today from the spreadsheets. Thanks again to Molly and all the support they give us. You do that, and the world record points stuff, or world champion points of it, becomes pretty crazy. Yeah.
He said you got to give all the results to Chat GPT and let it do the work for you.
Yeah, I've done that a couple times to help me find interesting stories and things like that. The struggle truly is we don't have the data. We truly don't have the data of what somebody drove, so it's hard to say the quickest Ford of all time if you don't know what somebody drove in an event back then. So it's just really, it's got to go through a lot of that kind of stuff. So there's JWire Solutions right there. Mr. Jay Blanchard himself in here. All right, well, I'll let you run through this, and then we'll bring Jesse Adams on of Redwood Rally.
All right. Again, appreciate everybody in here making comments. Again, you guys are our race car friends. We can't do this without you guys, so thank you for supporting us. We appreciate that. Voice is killing me tonight. Appreciate you guys supporting us and everything that you guys do. It's what keeps us going. Again, posting photos, like I said, just finished day one, seeing everybody tag each other. That's the kind of stuff that really keeps me going to keep editing more photos when I'm beyond exhausted. And then our sponsors, obviously, we cannot do all of this traveling and all this stuff without them. So again, if you guys are buying parts, please check out these companies. Again, we've got affiliate links, we've got discount codes. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to either one of us. But thank you to Summit Racing Equipment, Deechworks, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cam, JWire Solutions, who was just in here, AFCO Racing Products, Performabuilt Transmission, Car Chains 3D, Power Tube TV, WAF Racing, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk.
Yeah, get on there, spend some money, y'all. Let's jump into some Deechworks stuff. That's who we're going to bring on. Jesse Adams here from Redwood Rally here momentarily. Deechworks is a leading manufacturer of high-performance fuel system components. The DW product line includes fuel injectors, pumps, pump modules, rails, regulators, filters, lines, fittings, surge tanks, all engineered to support power levels ranging from 400 to 3,000 horsepower. check out deechworks.com for your fuel system needs, and you can use DDR10 as your code for 10% off. Not just like with everybody else, not just super cool products for your fuel system. They also have merch and all that kind of cool stuff that goes along with that. So let's bring in Mr. Jesse Adams here. Let's get this set up differently here so we can bring you in, sir. Move you to the middle. 2 words, Jesse Sandwich. In here to talk about Redwood Rally, dude. How many years is this y'all's 4th event?
Third
event. Okay, I was
year
close.
number 3.
Yeah, we're going to be going to your 4th one. I just want to get that out in the open right now. We're coming, man. It looked like an incredible time.
It was fantastic. We really could not have asked for a better event.
Yeah, I agree with that. It looked incredible. All the people that were out there, all the racing was really tight. We went over that on the news on Saturday morning. And man, a lot of that stuff changed between Saturday morning and Saturday evening.
Yeah, I think the one thing that is so much different that people don't really understand about our event is the way tracks operate on the West Coast is so much different than the Midwest and back East. Felicia came out and ran our event this year, and she said, man, what a curveball. Like, the tracks are so much different here. And unfortunately for us West Coasters, the part of the problem is there's not enough racetracks and not enough racers. And then they just get promoted awkwardly. And luckily we do a good job, and the drag and drive community has really wanted a West Coast event. So they've come flocking to our event. We've done a really good job managing it, I believe, and bringing in sponsors and bringing in everybody. But the tracks, they're just a little bit different. They don't race week in and week out. Most of them have some decent equipment, but they're because there's not cars going down them as frequently as so many tracks in the Midwest. The track prep just doesn't seem to be what some people back that way on the eastern side of the country are used to. It doesn't mean that they're bad. It's just different. And, Woodburn Drag Strip, that would be one of the premier facilities on the West Coast. We do 2 stops in Medford. We actually do our day 0, our check-in day, our test and tune, and then day 1 and 5 are in Medford. And the traction and the track prep there by Justin is usually really good. But the tracks out here, I don't understand. I race all around the country. We go no prep racing, we go pro mod racing, we go all over the place. And the temperature just does not seem to affect tracks in the Midwest like it affects them out here. We get a good start in the morning when it's nice and cool out. Everything's just fast. And then when the sun comes out and it gets to be 80, 90 degrees, throws a curveball. It's a whole different animal. And that's where, like Shane Probst, right? Shane didn't make it to our event this year, but he's been really fast. I think he had a 461 average last year. Shane is like a gangster. That is throwing it down for the tracks that we're running on. Coos Bay, that it's a street. They put some glue on it. It's a real racetrack, but it's very porous. They have no drag tractor. They just spray glue and they go. And I think Shane went like 473 there, which is practically unheard of, to be honest.
That's awesome.
So if we can get some more people from the Midwest and out East, like I would love to see them rise to the challenge. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Felicia and the other people that came out, they will attest to the fact that our scenery, our routes, our views, everything is the best in the drag and drive world. The tracks are a little bit tougher
Jesse
to
Fox
manage.
was talking about that. Yeah, he was saying it was just gorgeous.
Oh yeah. It's just the racing part is just a little bit harder for the drivers and the tuners to get it done. But ultimately, it's an even playing field for everybody, and everybody has a really good time. And even though it's not, some of them we really don't get complaints about it, but we get people that say, "Wow, this is tough." And like Donovan and Olivia, for them to be as fast as they are on small tires, and Nate with the stick shift Fairmont, it's really saying something. And it's hard to get a good comparison unless you're out here and you really experience it.
Well, and I think that's one of the biggest benefits to doing all of these different events around the country is you do get a different experience with each one that you're doing.
Oh, for sure.
That's awesome. All right, well, let's run through. I want to take this segment here and work through the winners. So I grabbed a ton of photos from the Redwood Rally page. Guys, go over there, look at all the stuff, look at all the posts they've made. I want to run through the winners real quick. Bring some of this. We're gonna just say the winners because I didn't know who was who and put photos with all the stuff. But I wanted to start out because you talk about some traction stuff. This truck had no problem with traction all week.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So you put the winners up, and I'll give you a little rundown on who they are.
Well, so we'll be saying who they are, and then you can go on and tell us from there. So Eric, I'll let you kind of start us off with some winner lists.
All right. The 3-pedal class had 27 entries. Nate Curran in the 80 Fairmont, total ET of 37.858.
So I will explain. Some of our tracks are 1/8 mile. We've got 3/4 mile days and 2 1/8 mile days. And the stick shift class is a 1/4 mile class. So it's hard to put an average together properly to make it look right. So we just do a overall ET for 5 days. And yeah, so Nate was at a 37.85, and second place there, just to give you an example, was 39.90. So Nate had a really strong hold on that entire category. He did go, let's see, 886 and 853. 853 was his quickest ET of the 5 days. And Nate's car is fun to watch because it's usually straight for about 700 feet, and then you don't know what it's going to do.
Yeah, he got it down. That was impressive. I saw the 853. I was like, wow. Yeah, he was running it out. Well, how about American Graffiti Hard Tire? What does this mean? This is a 1/8 mile class, 26 entries in this class. Joe Bloomberg won it with a 678 average.
Yeah, so the hard tire class were pretty similar to most hard tire classes out there. It's a 200 treadwear rating or higher. Bloomberg in the 65 Mustang, Carl Brown finished second with a 712 average. Joe was a 678 average. So he's about almost 4/10 quicker than Carl right there. And Carl was in a C8 Corvette with traction control and so on. So Joe's Mustang really got down the track well. It's fun to watch the hard tire cars. I was going to do a hard tire, or I did do a hard tire shootout day 2 at Coos Bay, and they were the first ones out on the racetrack. Everybody was a little nervous about that because Coos Bay, like I said, it's like a street surface with some glue on it. But Joe got down really good and managed to win that one.
So talk to us about that shootout. What's that mean? Is that like a top 4? Or is that a chip draw? What do you do?
So we took day 1. We didn't do any shootouts at all. And the issue that I've had, and I always have to deal with from fans and spectators and so on, is the lack of head-to-head, heads-up, win light racing at drag and drives. Because essentially when you're watching as a spectator, it looks like a massive test and tune because wind lights don't matter. Reaction times are all over the board. So I wanted to put some side-by-side heads-up competition together. So on day 2 there at Coos Bay, I took we had 4 racers in junior street, and the junior streeters, they did a bracket race based on the indexes they set for themselves. And we'll get into that later. So we had a junior street bracket race at Coos Bay, and then we did the 8-tire hard tire shootout. So the top 8 in results after day 1, they came up to the booth and they chip drew pairings. And then they ended up racing 8-car shootout, 3 rounds, very simple. Their results from the shootout were valid results to turn in for their daily passes. So if a guy lost first round, he could turn in his time slip and get on the road.
Mm-hmm. That's so they could they then make passes like in an open run or something like that later in the day?
Yeah, absolutely. So they can fall right back into the scheduled run order. The way we do ours is we do 1 complete run order session, separating each category. Then we'll do a second one. By the time we get into the second one, this is all 5 days. By the time we get into the second one, about 40 to 50% of the competitors do one and done, and they split. So then we get into a second rotation. We run that full rotation, and then after that, it's open time runs. We just separate street tires from race tires, And those guys that ran first round, if they wanted to make a second pass, they would have come up with hard tire later in the rotation. Unfortunately, at Coos Bay, well, we did get the shootout finished, and Matt Ray in a diesel pickup, he ended up winning the shootout. The guy that he was supposed to race in the final, he thinks, and it might have been, I honestly don't remember who it was he was supposed to race in the final, but he thought he might have hurt something second round. So he said, look, I'm not going to come around and race the final. So he handed the win off to Matt. And then shortly after that, we had a little mess on the racetrack at Coos Bay.
No.
And everything was going smooth and going really good. And then we had a fuel cap come off. I'm not going to call the guy out. People know who it was. And it's that stuff happens in drag racing. We don't cry foul. We don't go point fingers, but fuel cap came off and happened to put about 5 gallons of diesel fuel from the stage beams to 200 feet out. And Coos Bay has the least amount of equipment of all of the tracks. So we're out there, and Jesse took a pretty cool video. I said, here's what we're going to do. Jesse from 3G is who I'm talking about. We said, let's work on this area right here from the stage beams to 60 feet for just a little while and see if we can make any headway. If we can make some headway, then we'll work further out. But while we're working back here, let's keep running cars down the right lane. We need to get our day done. So we get all set up. They put about 5 gallons of methanol on top of that diesel. Jesse's standing down the wall about 500 feet off the right lane, and he's videoing while they light that methanol up, and the left lane is completely on fire, and the right lane has got a diesel truck in it. We send him, and it made for good video. It made for people to say, what the hell? That's a wild moment. And looking back, it's very strange how things happen. That diesel truck in the right lane pushes out a front pump seal on the transmission and throws about 4 gallons of ATF on the track from the finish line to the turnoff.
No.
So I'm walking out there, and I'm down at the finish line, and I'm looking up at the shutdown area, and it's like 5 feet wide, and it's puddled up in some places. And the asphalt's very porous there. And I'm like, how are we going to clean that? And then I look at the starting line, and it's on fire still. I'm like, how are we going to clean that? And I had to just come up with a solution. And I've been drag racing for a very long time. I was taught promotion-wise and decision-making-wise by one of the best to ever do it, Kyle Seipel. And so when I make a decision, it's based on how I feel if I was racing the event, how I feel I would like to be treated in this exact moment. And that's how Kyle always told me to approach it. It's not about getting the event. It's not to the benefit of the event. You got to look at the benefit of the racers first and make it make sense within the event. So I'm looking at the shutdown, and I'm looking at the starting line, and I call Heather out, and Heather comes down there, and I says, here's what we got to do. It's a tough decision, but it's all stop. We can't clean this up. It's noon right now. We want to run till 3 or 3:30. We're like halfway through. We're more than halfway through one rotation, but we weren't going to get through one rotation of cars. So we called drivers meeting, and I said, here's what we're going to do. Anybody who had results right now, those results are going to count up until that category that finished. Anybody that didn't have results, we're going to Woodburn. Everybody leave now. Change your stuff back over. Let's get on the road. Tomorrow, you all make 2 runs, and you all fit that in. Well, then shortly after, like minutes after that decision, I had like 3 racers come up and say, well, I already ran with my category, but for some reason, the timing system didn't give me any data. That hurts my decision there. And I hate second guessing, and I hate indecisiveness. So I just had to say, all right, guys, one more quick call. Everybody needs to make 2 passes in Woodburn tomorrow. One pass is you're going to turn as your 8th mile time. One pass you're going to turn as your quarter mile time if you're a quarter mile class. And we're going to make sure we don't lose a day. The last thing I wanted to do was scratch a day off the schedule and have a 4 race average. So or a 4-day average. So we ended up going to Woodburn. Sherry there, she opened up the concession stand and the bar at like 4 p.m. Everybody came in. They partied till 11 p.m. that night. We hung out at the hotel. We had a good time. We got on there on Thursday at Woodburn, and everybody got at least 2 passes in, turned in the results, and it really fixed the situation the best as it could possibly be fixed. But at first, there were some people that really were questioning the decision, and then I had to make a couple little adjustments. But for the most part, I think everybody said, there's nothing else that could be done. And we were really
Yeah.
happy with the result.
Well, and at the end of the day, like you're right, like you've got to get in and offering those guys an opportunity to make two passes, or having them turn in two passes the next day makes sense. So pretty cool. I like it.
We were even able to take the guys that, if you made one run already on Wednesday and you're a quarter-mile class, you could make one run on Thursday, and you could turn in your 8th mile time for Wednesday and your quarter-mile time for Thursday. So you can make one time slip count for both, because it's a drag and drive. It's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's an endurance race. So it's not fair to let people make just one pass on Thursday if they didn't get two in. And there was people that ran on Wednesday. So ultimately, some people on Thursday, if they already ran on Wednesday, they made one Thursday, one Wednesday, they still got two. If you didn't run on Wednesday, you had to make two. So at the end of the day, everybody had to make the mandatory minimum amount of runs. And it worked out for the best, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. That's awesome. Well, back to the winners here. Eric, lead us on. What are we on here?
We are on American Graffiti Magnum, which first place there was Jake Caranda with a 5.61 average. And second place, not far behind, was Ray Lashley with a 5.70.
So Jake, his family business, they actually sponsor the hard tire class. That's Rich All Electric. And I should be going over these sponsors. I'll go back and hit the other two later. Jake has had this Nova for a year and a half. He's changed the combo, done this, done that. It's a gorgeous car. Like, it's more of a show car with a roll cage in it. But he's struggled and had good testing, bad testing, good dyno pulls, bad dyno pulls. He's hurt everything you can hurt every time. Last year, he heard it on the dyno the morning that he was headed to the Redwood Rally.
Oh, no.
So this year he came out there and really struggled the first 2 days. And then once he got a handle on it, at Coos Bay, he didn't get to run. And we got to Woodburn, and I said, look, Jake, you're struggling with this thing so much. Just put your Coos Bay tune-up in for the best track we have. He said, that's what I'm going to do. So then he really got a handle on it on that day, on Thursday at Woodburn. And then he was able to work up to it. Where before he was trying to swing for the fences and always behind the 8-ball. And then he finally, came in mellow and then worked up to it. And it managed to really help his average out a ton. And he kind of walked away with that one.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big win. And then up next, American Graffiti NA race tire, which I want to talk about this in a second. This is another 8th mile class. Daniel Field won this one with a 6.249 over John Ziegler, 6.284. So this is a tight race. And tell us what NA race tire means.
So it's 28-10-5 or 275 radial or a 30/9. That's the largest tire size you can run. So you can go with a taller tire, but you sacrifice width. It's naturally aspirated, and that's basically it. No back half cars in this category. You can have mini tubs. Frame rails can be kind of moved in, but they have to be a factory style frame rail with mini tubs. All of the cars, other than unlimited and slightly limited, are supposed to be mostly fully trimmed out. So full interior, carpet, and none of it has to be perfect. Like I tell everybody, you just have to, I don't want to see gutted cars. What I want to see is cars that you made an attempt to finish. And we're do-it-yourselfers. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to go spend $30,000 on interior, but it's got to be a finished-looking car, not gutted cars running. So that's what the AG NA race tire class is. And Daniel comes down from Idaho. He's one of our sponsors. He brings a fleet. They brought like 8 cars this year.
What?
And, yeah, they brought him, his sister. I don't think his dad made it this year, but then they got a whole other group of buddies that have gassers and all sorts of stuff. So they came out and that battle with second place, I believe going into day 5, they were separated by 0.02 of a second. So it was really, really close. And then there was a little bit of a, between the first place and the second place guy, they had a little bit of a behind the scenes beef going on. So they did a little call out race. They were the first cars down the track on day 5 Saturday. And Daniel hopped it up and he really got down well, and it managed to stretch out the gap in the average. But they're great people. John Ziegler, he finished second in the 72 Camaro. He sponsored the rally before as well. And we just have such a great group of people around us that they love coming back, and we love hosting them.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
All right, next up, we've got American Graffiti Power Adders, which had 28 entries in that class. First place there was Lane Carvar with a 5.349 over Jeremy Sears with a 5.414. And then still close, third place, Edward Rachel with a 5.434. So all pretty close right there.
Yeah, this one was the category was sponsored by Paul's Family Dentistry in Oregon. And interesting note here, Lane Savar first place and Jeremy Sears second place. They are the co-owners of the Olympic Streetcar Shootout Drag and Drive that takes place up in Washington.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so Lane and Jeremy, they sponsor they sponsor one of our categories as well. We sponsor them. We actually give them a couple entries. So two of their winners at the Olympic Streetcar Shootout get Redwood Rally entries.
That's awesome.
Next year, they've come in pretty hefty to sponsor the rally for 2 years while they build their event. Next year, we're going to step up and we're going to do more for them as well, because they've got a great small drag and drive. Both of them are in, well, there's another one. There's a third, one of their other buddies there. I'm trying to think of which one. Anyway, Lane's is Pro Charged. Jeremy's is turbo, and those Malibus really run good. There's a red one and a white one. And then Eddie Rachel, he's got a really nice Mustang. He's from where I live, real close to me. I think he's in Redding, actually, where Heather lives. And his Mustang ran good too. I think that's probably the best his Mustang has run that I've ever seen, and consistently as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a class I think would be a lot of fun to watch. And those guys are in that 850, or quicker ET range. So that's a good one. Up next, Glory Day Gassers. Walt Hooker takes that one with a total ET of 42,879. That's a class I want to go see, man.
Yeah, the Gasser class is really nice. Last year it was a little bit bigger than it was this year. Woody's Towing and Recovery from Idaho, they sponsored that Gasser class, and Walt's got a Falcon that's got all gold exhaust on it. It's way up high in the air. It's got red tinted windows. So it looks, yeah, Donovan's right. Matt Houston, he's the other one with the wagon. Then Chase Fouts, he was in a Willys truck last year, but this year he was in a really, really clean white Gasser Nova. And Walt on Saturday, day 5, his first pass. I hope there's pictures. I don't know if you have a picture of it there, but I know there's pictures and video of it out there. He had the bumper dragging for about 200 feet until he finally lifted. It was up and hanging on forever. And then the super interesting note on Walt is, I didn't know this till yesterday, he wasn't feeling well at the rally all week long. And you couldn't really tell unless you knew him. And I couldn't tell because I see him a couple times a year. But the rest of the guys said he was feeling bad. They tried to get him to go to the doctor. He's like, no, I'm in this. I'm in this to win it. So he ends up winning. They take off on Sunday morning. They go home. He ends up in the emergency room with a burst appendix and gets cut open yesterday. And today's in recovery, but he's going to be okay.
Dude, that could have been bad. Drag and drive life, baby.
It could have been. These guys are crazy. I can't say I would have done the same. I got to make sure my event finishes, but at the same time, that's too close of a call. If you're feeling that bad, go see the doctor.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Junior Street, Molly Alsup with a 0.089 spread.
You'll hear Molly's name a few times in this little deal. Junior Street was sponsored by Haley Miller Racing. You can see Molly was first place, Haley Miller was second place, Victoria Campbell third place, and Cameron Ellsworth in fourth. We had 4 junior streeters this year. Now Molly Alsup, her older brother Austin, he won Junior Street. Honestly, I don't know if it was last year or the first year. The first year, I think he was second place. But Austin, he's bound to be a great racer. His dad used to watch me race stock eliminator. His dad's run stock eliminator. But the Alsup family, really great. And Molly really, she was really tight to her index all week. Now, they also set their index just like the Mind Over Matter class. The difference is junior street by NHRA standards is limited to 9 flat in the 8th mile. So I have to make our software guy has to make an exception in the system. So the junior streeters, they're always running off of their index to the 8th mile all 5 days, whereas Mind Over Matter runs to the quarter. Some people have asked, and I'll just address this because why not? Some people have asked, well, isn't it easier to make a car more consistent to the 8th mile than the quarter mile? On occasion, it can be, but it's pretty hard to make a 9-second 8th mile car consistent. So that's like the flip side of it, you know?
Here's the other side of that too. It may be easy. Is it easy for a 14-year-old?
Exactly. So, but these kids, they've got it down. And the ones that you see here, if you look at you can look at the results on the Redwood Rally website. You can see every result, every category, and then hit the drop down and see each run for everybody. But the part that you don't see very well here is Haley Miller finished second place at a 323 over. So she's 32 hundredths over, a little over 0.3 of a second over her index. That's not a true reflection of how she ran throughout the week. She took a 2/10 penalty one day because she went under her index. She couldn't get the car slowed down enough. So when she had set her index, I can't just go based on indexes. You can't just go based on how far they go under. And, you know, a guy goes a thou under, he's not within a thou of his index. There's a 2/10 penalty plus the amount you're under. So if you're a thou under, you're actually 201 over for the day. But we do allow people to make up to 6 passes this year. And that's just it. You just got to be careful with it. You got to make sure you get over that index. There's some people that were dumping it too hard and they end up being, 0.4 over, right? Well, they end up taking a breakout pass because the 2/10 is a less penalty than their slow pass. But that's why that category we get it at. We call it Mind Over Matter. It's not as simple as put a number and go.
Yeah, the Mind Over Matter, I really like the setup for it, and it had 83 entries, bro. You guys are killing it over there. First place, Ray Dominic. I'm gonna butcher his name. Dominiac. There you go. Hey, that makes sense. 035 spread. He was actually in second going into Saturday's news episode that we did. And then Chris Molnari was in first place. He ended up in second with an 037 spread. So, 2 thousandths of a second. And then third, Molly Alsop, 089. And then Erica Young was in third going into Saturday morning with an 032 spread, but ended up at a 0.250 spread across for the week. So, struggles, man.
All sorts of stuff to talk about with this category. So the controversy was Chris Molinari, he's got a Mustang he's building, and it just hasn't quite been finished yet. So he tried to bring his Mustang last year, didn't finish it, didn't work out. Tried to bring his Mustang this year, didn't quite finish it, didn't work out. So he brought his daily driver. It happens to be Tesla. Everybody knows the controversies between Tesla and bracket racing. And me as like a hardcore bracket racer, I don't see it as quite as much of a problem as some people make it out to be, especially when I do know it's his daily driver. He puts a lot of miles on it, but there were some people that were getting a little upset. Nobody got rowdy about it, but they were getting a little upset that the Tesla's dominating. Day one, he's dead on 0 to his index. Day two, he's 2 thou over his index. Day three, 6 thou over his index. So there is a pattern there that could make you nervous, right? But then when you look at Ray Dominiac, day one, he's 4 thou over. Day two, he's 10 thou over. Day three, he's 5 thou over. And then day four, he's 12 thou over. And day five, he's 4 thou over. So Dominiac with the little GMC Jimmy Blazer, he managed to take his naturally aspirated Blazer and put it right on the mark too. And he ended up winning the category by just, what did we say here? 32 thousandths of a second over 5 days. So I don't think the Tesla has quite the advantage that people think. However, there is a perception there, and I already spoke to Molinari about it. Most likely next year, Teslas will not be allowed in the category. It doesn't leave them a lot of places to run. There's not a lot of Teslas that even want to try to run. Most likely no EVs in the Redwood Rally next year. It just, for the few that we get, not having them doesn't hurt us. allowing them could potentially hurt us based on perception from other racers. And, we take feedback very seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. And, to be, I don't know. So, let's see, what's their name that run the Mustang Mach-E? Ledesma. They won number 1 and number 2 in, I think, 13.0 index last year before at Rocky Mountain. But dude, you still have to drive that thing. Like, let's be honest, you're not running flat out the whole time and it just magically runs a number. Like, you're still having to do the right stuff to do that.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'm devil's advocate there. I'm, bring them on, I think it makes everybody work harder.
Well, it goes both ways. And, like I said, we get so few EVs that even want that are even trying to be a part of it. He brought it as a secondary backup vehicle.
Yep.
And
perfect plan.
He just basically said it's more motivation for him to get his Mustang finished next year.
Yeah.
And
he's like, I don't want to drive it. I don't want to drive it.
It's exactly what he said.
Awesome.
Let's see.
All right.
So Molly Allsup, she also won. So she won Junior Street.
Mm-hmm.
She finished 3rd in Mind Over Matter. So she got a 3rd place trophy for that one. And then our Speed Queens category that was presented by Race White Graphics, that had to do with the most consistent female as far as the Mind Over Matter class goes. So it's females only. And Molly ended up taking 1st place in that one as well. So Molly went home with two big redwood trees.
What?
And a 3rd place trophy. So Molly, she really cleaned house. And then I'm going to give a shout out to Erica there, Erica Young. She was, like you said, she was in 3rd place coming into day 5. I think she was like 50 over or just a hair over. And her husband, Ryan, has a stick shift Fox body Mustang. And he just kind of overextended himself trying to run 2 cars, trying to help her with hers and run his as well. And they just couldn't get her on the number. They were really close, but just continue over and over and over, just slightly under the index. And they couldn't get her over the top. So on that last day, she was like 18 thousandths under. So with the 2/10 penalty, she's 218 under. And, that really hurt her chances for being in the top spot there in the Mind Over Matter class. But her and Ryan, they really worked hard all week long. And it's tough. It's tough running 2. It's tough enough to run 1 car, let alone run 2.
Right. Yeah, no thanks.
All right, that brings us up to the Redwood Radials, which was won by Donovan Linwood, who was just here in the comments, with a 5.241 average, with a best pass of 5.047.
So close.
Yeah, so close. And 2nd place, Olivia Wallace, with a 5.497 average. And 3rd place, Jaden Shelton, with a 5.50 average, just 0.008 behind 2nd. So again, tight racing there.
Donovan, probably the most impressive car at the rally this year. That's on either a 26 8.5 tire or a 235 radial. I honestly don't know what tire Donovan runs, but he was very close to putting his car in the 4s. I know he's done it before. That 504 he ran.
I don't think he's done it with you, right? I don't think he's done it
with us.
Yeah, I remember him having a conversation.
No, not with us.
Yeah, I remember him talking
2 years
to us
ago.
about that,
and 2 years ago he was close, but his car has gone through an extreme makeover since then. Last year he blew like 3 spark plugs out on the first pass and didn't get to run the event. He couldn't fix it in time, but that 524 average for that tiny tire, that's impressive. And then the real battle came down to Olivia and Jaden. So Olivia's got a they call it the slow lean. It's like a 2011 model Saline with a Coyote in it, and Jaden Shelton with a LS powered turbocharged Volvo. And Jaden last year was leading the pack and ended up taking a disqualification for the way some parts were picked up and utilized. And it wasn't his. It was really, really hard for Heather and I to do that. But, we had to stick by the way things were written. And Jaden took it like a champ and said, you know what, it's more motivation for next year. He came out this year, him and his dog Pretzel, and they ran the trip all together. And that Volvo is impressive. And Olivia, they were within thousands. Like they finished within 8,000ths of a second. Olivia thought she was done running on day 5. And then Jaden went down and put down a good pass. And she said, you know what, Drew, we got to go one more. So they went out there. So they went out and put down, where did it go here? Day 5 of 5:40, which secured that win by the 8,000ths of a second. She ran that one out to the quarter mile. I believe she went 8:27. 3 out of 5 days, she set personal bests ever in her Mustang. So
man, that's awesome.
She ran really well. With that, she actually picked up the Speed Queen's fastest female trophy as well. So the Race White Graphics Speed Queens, Olivia was the fastest female at the Redwood Rally.
How cool, man. That is awesome. Well, talk to us about Slightly Limited. What does that class mean? Winner, Chris Ballard, 5:13, winning that one up from second place on Saturday morning. Steve Volp ended up in second place with a 5:362. So pretty close race, but what is Slightly Limited?
So Slightly Limited is basically a wide open class. It's unlimited chassis cars, unlimited power outers, unlimited anything. The only limitation to the category is tire size. And that's when you go back to a 28-10-5, a 275 radial, or a 30x9 slick.
Interesting.
Like Shane runs in the unlimited class and he's got a big 34.5 tire on it. But the slightly limited class this year was Olympic Streetcar Shootouts, the ones that sponsored that category. The only limitation of that class is tire size. And it was impressive. It was a fun one to watch as well. Ballard, I'm sure you've seen him. He was out at Fuel Tech. He's got that little orange Model T, and it makes, I think it's approaching 3,000 horsepower. Last year, he spent like 40 hours straight getting ready for the rally, and at the very last minute, threw in the towel, brought out a buddy's gasser, and he ran the gasser class. But Ballard got it to work this week. I do know on day 3, they broke a boost controller, and we're essentially just trying to change springs around and do some things to limit the boost as best they could. But I think he told me at one pass at Madras, in 0.2 of a second, it made they had like a 40-pound boost swing that they just couldn't overcome. So they kept bleeding stuff off. He actually had a pinhole in a fuel line at Madras, got pulled over, had a methanol fire that obviously nobody could see. They got it put out nice and clean. He managed to change the fuel line, get back out there and get it back down the track. And then he finished up well on Saturday. So Ballard with the Model T, he was fast. That thing's fun to watch. It darts all over the place. It's about as wide as it is long. So it really darts all over the racetrack. When you see some of Jesse's videos or maybe Luke or Heather's videos, it's a wild little truck to watch. Actually, the Dive Bombers Garage, he's a member of the Dive Bombers. So the Dive Bombers guys, they always put out really good videos, and it takes them a little while to edit. I'm sure you'll see day 1 drop probably next week, but you'll get to see that little Model T dart all over the racetrack. It's wild.
That's awesome. Well, I'm looking at your real-time results here. Again, redwoodrallye.com. You can see all the results there. 496 on day 1, 485 on day 2, 484 on day 3. Day 5 had a 496, but on day 4 ends up turning in a 6.0. Bro, that's got to be tough.
Well, that was the day that it backfired and popped, and when it backfired, it somehow hurt a fuel line, and that's when the fire was. And so they went back and they thrashed and thrashed and thrashed, and we had a cutoff time that we were sticking to, and then we also had a gasser that broke a rear end. That gasser that broke the rear end, they found a wrecking yard somewhere in Madras, and they went and picked a wrecking yard rear end up with another racer's truck, and came back and shoved that in. And at the last minute, they said, "Well, how late can we run?" And I said, "Well, we had a cutoff set for this, but if you need to limp it down, the track says that they'll stay open." And I went and told the handful of cars that were still potentially able to make passes that day, I said, "Hey, we're going to give the gasser about 15 more minutes. If you guys want to get another pass in, you can." And so Ballard ended up getting his fixed, getting out there, making a run that he could turn in at least, because you got to turn in something. You can't just bow out.
Mhm.
You can. You just that's a DNF, babe.
Yeah, and it worked out. He got down, like you said, he went 6 flat. He's got 4-second time slips for 4 out of 5 days, and then this one that's completely off the wall. Doesn't make sense. But the gasser got his fixed, made the drive to Medford, and the gasser finished out the week, and Ballard ended up winning.
Was he your only car in the fours?
I believe so.
Yeah, I was
I
looking
believe
at
he was the only
Ryan's
car in the fours all week long. You know?
Man, that's awesome.
Shane,
Wow.
Shane, I don't know if he was at drag week or if it was one of the sick weeks, but Shane hurt a motor, I think, 2 weeks before the rally and just didn't have time to fix it. So we all know if Shane shows up, like I said earlier, he's a madman. He will go fast. And it's not like he will necessarily walk away with it. He burned up 21 push rods last year. So it's the endurance part of it is the difficult part for Shane. Getting down the racetrack fast, he's really good at that. It's the 850 miles. It's difficult. So we miss seeing him. I didn't even get to talk to him last week, but definitely miss seeing him out there. Yeah. I'm sure he'll try it again next year. I know he's got a couple other cars potentially being built. Yeah. So Shane will be back at it soon as well. And then Ballard too, that 496 or the 486, that's not as fast as that thing's going to go. He'll be I'm sure at some point somewhere, he'll be in the 50s.
Wow. That's badass.
All right. Next up is Tailgate Racers, which had 27 entries. First place there was Sean McKinney with a 5.419 average. Over second place, Ryan, is it Rezinkin? 5.655 average. And third place, Aaron Fry with a 5.754.
All three of those guys have run the rally, I believe, all 3 years. I don't know if Sean's ever finished in the top 3, but I know he's been motivated every year, and he really put the work in, and his truck ran great. Ran great all throughout the rally. I don't think he had any problems at all. Ryan Rezinkin in Woodburn, it was almost a double flip. It did a wheelie that was straight up in the air, yet it was also tilted like 60 degrees to the right. And I thought for sure that maybe he broke a left front shock and there was no shock travel limit on the left front because it was up almost on one wheel. And it turns out it either broke the anti-roll bar, or I think the anti-roll bar might have went over center when they did their changeover. Actually, that's what it was. They did their changeover from race tires to their street tire to race tire changeover. And when they set the car on the ground, they didn't realize that the anti-roll was not correct here. It was over center like this. So when it left, it just let the front end do anything it wanted to do. And it was a wild one. And look down there in fifth place, Stefan Rezinkin, that's his brother. Stefan's got the love truck with that you put on the picture earlier that was straight up in the air. We put those guys together side by side for I think it was for $300 to do a wheelie contest on Saturday, and they both missed the mark a little bit side by side, but they both did some big wheelies anyway. It was really cool. But the tailgate class, not limited to trucks, but it could be a Blazer, it could be a station wagon, but it has to have a fold down tailgate. No fold up hatches, no ambulance doors, no swing open gates. It's got to be a fold down tailgate. All we had this year was pickup trucks, but it's a fun class.
Yeah, I would expect some El Caminos in that one next year for sure. And then Ryan Psyche takes on the win in unlimited 5.215 average. One of the best unlimited finishes I think I've seen just in the quick research I did. So good job, man. That's fast.
He went 5.12 on day 2, which are on day 3, Woodburn. So he was close to getting a 4-second pass in. And I don't know if Ryan's ever been in the 4s or not, but I think the car is plenty capable. He actually went 5.27 in Coos Bay. And for a small tire car, he's in unlimited, but he does not have a massive tire on it. I think he might have a 2911 or a 305 or something on it. But to go 5.27 with his car in Coos Bay was very, very impressive. And he got the chutes out, and that place is straight uphill. You're going to be amazed because pictures and video don't do it justice. The place is
Mhm.
straight uphill after the finish line, and he was booking heading towards the final turnoff. And I actually had to stop and watch and make sure, like, I hope he gets it stopped, because otherwise you go through some dirt and then there's pine trees. He got it stopped and turned, and it was good. And he was real happy with that. And he basically said, I don't even need to make 2 runs in Woodburn. I'm happy with my 5:27. So Ryan ran really good. Felicia, I would imagine if we were able to do the Redwood Rally again next week, and Felicia did the same thing, she would probably cut 3/10 off of that average. It was just like she said, a learning curve. The tracks in the Midwest that she's used to running, they're different. And I really, really, if you think you're the baddest around, I challenge you from the Midwest to come out here and give the Redwood Rally a shot and run on these tracks. It's a different experience. I'm not saying it's bad at all, but it would really, really be fun to watch some of the fast guys come out and try to tame these racetracks.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome. And highly recommend. And Felicia shipped her car out. I think somebody else was coming, and she ended up shipping it or sending it with them. But real quick, so let's wrap up this segment. We got one more. We're going to talk about stories. Total entries. Heather sent me this earlier. 320 people said, "Hey, we're coming." Total checked in, dude. 274 folks. Man, congratulations! Big pat on the back. You guys did awesome. That's a bunch of people.
Thank you. We really tried to limit the entries at 280. And once registration is done, there's only certain ways you can get in after that. And what it really comes down to is sponsorship. And we had a lot of people that said, hey, we really want to do this event. How can we still get in? And so we make some sponsorship exemptions. And fortunately for us, and fortunately for everybody, they get the opportunity to do it. But if you sponsor before registration, the sponsorship costs a certain amount. It's not fair to the people that do it before registration for people to just jump in after. So after registration's full and closed, if you want in, there is a premium on it. But people are just so excited about the event, they don't seem to care. We're so fortunate to have people that want to run our event so much that basically we have a large amount of them that just say, I know I'm late, I'll do whatever it takes. And then at some point, we pretty much throw a hard cutoff. We all know that it's a 20 to 30% no-show ratio in drag and drives. To have 307 or 308 total signed up and 270 show up, that's like 10%. That's a really good show up ratio. And I think it says a lot to what we do and the way our communication is with people, because that's one of the things that I kind of take pride in the most. Heather and I do this. If you need to get a hold of somebody and you got a question to ask, you talk to Heather or myself, and that's it. And there's no communication loss there, and it works out really, really well. That's how I like it to be. I don't want it to get too big to where I can't manage it. I like the personal relationships that I have with racers and sponsors.
Yeah, definitely.
One last thing here before we move on to the next segment is talk about the General Sherman Award.
So the General Sherman Award is it's basically like you're overcoming adversity, working hard, doing crazy stuff to make sure you finish the trip. And Kyle Condos came out from Wyoming. The Condos family brings between 6 and 9 cars all 3 years so far, all the way from the middle of Wyoming. And they brought this Fox Body Mustang out, and I believe it had a modular motor in it or something. And in Woodburn, they blew it up. They had a diaper on it, didn't get any oil on the track, got it back to their pit area, started thinking, looking, how are we going to do this? We really want to get this car home. They drive most of their stuff out, and made some phone calls and found a motor at a wrecking yard. Literally drove one of their family racers' trucks to the wrecking yard, bought this motor full of dirt right off the junkyard floor, came back in, installed it in Woodburn at the track. And I know people do parking lot swaps too, but it was pretty cool to see them thrashing at the racetrack. And they put it back together, got it on the road, and ended up racing the next 2 days and completing the event. So last year, the General Sherman went to Nate Curran, and it's a every year award. We don't take that back and give it to the next person, although that might be really cool to do. But Yeah, we've done it twice. Last year was Nate Curran. This year, Kyle Condis with a red Fox body Mustang for changing an engine in the Woodburn pits.
Dude, how cool. That's really cool. All right, well, let's wrap up the Deechwork segment here. Again, guys, 10% off all of your order, DDR10. Use code DDR10 on deechworks.com. Any fuel system thing you could possibly imagine, from 400 to 3,000 horsepower, they got it. They can handle it. If you need to talk to somebody in tech or something like that, hit us up. We'll get you in contact with those guys over there. Mr. Eric, you want to tell them about Performa-Built transmissions?
Yep. Performa-Built is the official transmission builder of Drag Drive Repeat. At Performa-Built Transmissions, the goal is to engineer and build the toughest transmissions on the planet. Performa-Built doesn't just rebuild transmissions, they systematically re-engineer each model to eliminate OEM flaws and to achieve the highest levels of performance. That's why they say their transmissions are not just built, they are Performa-Built.
Yep. So in this segment, dude, I just kind of want to tell some stories. We're going to be a little over tonight, a little over the 2-hour mark, but I just want to tell stories. I want to hear stuff about the trip. I did grab a few photos from 3G Video and then NMR Media. So I figured we'd kind of go through some of these and let you, I don't know, talk about what we're seeing, but then also some of the stuff that you came across. I will say the scenery out there, bro, is gorgeous. Golly.
Yeah, it's second to none by far.
I mean, it's just so pretty. Jesse Fox, of course, with shots here. I mean, this stuff just looks amazing. And then Jesse was on earlier talking about the heading up the coast, how the route went. He's like, the first 2 days were kind of on PCH, and man, it just seems so cool to me the way you guys route that stuff.
Yeah, we actually added about 100 miles to the route from day 1 to day 2, specifically so people go to and see the ocean, because there is a quicker way to get from Medford to Coos Bay. But and it's a gorgeous tree-lined canyon route as well, but it's not as cool as being on Pacific Coast Highway.
Yeah, right. I mean, like this shot here makes me want to get my family in the car and drive out there, or fly and rent a car, something. We got to go, man. This looks amazing.
Yeah, I would agree.
I believe that shot right there is the route from Woodburn to Madras. So Mount Hood is up that way, and I drove it at night. That's the worst part of the rally for me, is I'm one of the last ones to leave. So I'm always driving in the dark. So the scenery isn't quite as cool for me. I'm more worried about hitting deer and animals than I am looking at the mountains off in the darkness. But the moonlight was awesome. And for the people that got out of there early enough to see the views, it was just great. The hotels that we use as host hotels, they treat us like kings. I hit a pretty good jackpot at the Mill Casino in Coos Bay. So that was a good one as well.
That's awesome. Well, some of the notes that I asked Heather, what should we talk about? And she said Madras was a new track for you guys and for most of your racers.
Yeah, even myself. And I've raced at most of the racetracks on the West Coast, but I'd never been to Madras. And they actually asked us after we announced the Redwood Rally in 2023, they called and said, what can we do to get you to our track? I said, it's too late. We have our tracks. We have a route established. I can't add or change anything now. And it's okay. Well, let's work together in the future. 2024, we did do a route change from 23, and I just couldn't quite fit Madras in the way that I knew what I needed to do in 24. 25, we just wanted to change the scenery. What I don't want is people getting bored with the same route. There's so many nice highways and views and mountains there in the Pacific Northwest that to change it up a little bit just makes it more fun for people. So we ended up taking the Samoa drag strip in Eureka. That's the racetrack literally on the ocean. We took that one off the schedule for 25 and we added Madras. Now, we felt really bad. We love Samoa. We love the people there. So we ended up doing it well. So that was a kind of a 2-day thing. We started in Reading, went over to the Samoa drag strip, did a car show at the hotel, and then did a car show at the racetrack. And we just had fun runs all day. And that was a blast. It was a 2-day trip, like 5 hours of open lanes. So Samoa still got our us to come there this year, but they just weren't on the Redwood Rally route. Madras, I didn't know what to expect. Google Earth does not do that place any justice whatsoever. I thought it was about 10% asphalt and 90% gravel and sagebrush. And once we got there, there's a whole lot more asphalt than I realized. Their return road is all brand new, super wide, very nice, very clean asphalt. Their pits, they broom them off, they clean them up for us, and they're good. And they had never had that many cars at their facility at one time. The biggest race they've ever had 194 cars on the property. We brought in, like, by that time, we probably had 20 dropouts, but we brought in at least 250 cars to their property, and they'd never seen anything like it.
That is so cool.
We took the town by storm. The restaurant owners were actually a little upset because they didn't expect us to be what we were. So here come people into these restaurants that have one cook on staff, and there's 60 people sitting down trying to eat, and they're like, we can't accommodate you. We can feed you all the drinks you want, but food is at a minimum tonight. And that's okay. They'll be prepared next year. We've already gotten multiple phone calls from restaurants, potential sponsors, pit stops, people in Madras. They loved us, and we loved being there. The track was, if you took Coos Bay and you put it here, and you take Woodburn and you put it here, I thought on a scale from 0 to 10, I figured Madras might be in the 4 range. And quite honestly, it was a 6 or a 7. And
that's awesome.
Very impressive. Yeah, they impressed me a lot. It's a small, out in the middle of nowhere racetrack, but we were very impressed.
That is really cool, man. And like to be cared for like that is a big deal, especially by the city. You know, like Eric knows, we hosted a town party in Galena, Kansas, which is a big deal on Route 66. And man, those guys were like, please come back. Please. Yeah. We love having so many cars on the street and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't blame you at all, man. That's really cool.
The other track that we can't thank enough, Justin Goodlet at Medford Drag Strip. He puts up with us for early check-in day, test and tune. We got 2 days of competition there. We park almost 200 trucks and trailers out in the shooting range. There's a nice long distance shooting range there on the far side of the pits, and he keeps security there all week long. So all of these racetracks, Coos Bay, it's one of those deals where Drake was upset that we had to make the call we had to make, but he understood. And I told Drake, you know what, it's not going to affect your track rental. I know we only ran half the time we wanted to today, but it's not your fault. It's totally cool. We just need to make sure the event gets done. And the racers love going to Coos Bay. So it may not be fast. It may not have a lot of space. It may be hard to do your changeover and change tires. But every time we say, well, maybe not Coos Bay, people just say, nope, we got to go. So yeah.
Well, and I think that's what kind of some of the drag and drive is becoming. Like, people want that experience, and they want a track that's different than every other track that they're going to see. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see what else we got here. Let's talk about favorite cars, man, because 274 cars is a bunch. What were some of the ones that stuck out in your mind?
I really like Jake Caranda's Nova. It's gorgeous. I mean, like I said, it's more of a show car than a race car, but it's performing like a race car now. Ballard's Model T, it's wild. Tess, Miss Midnight Maverick, she was there this year, and I think she probably put down some PB runs with a stick shift. Wow. She almost crashed in Woodburn. She had a line lock malfunction, and when she turned right, I thought, oh no. And then she turned left, and I thought for sure she was going to go head on into the left side guardrail, and she gathered it up and didn't. So it was cool having Tess there. Like I said, Ballard's car, Stefan Rasinkin, his wheelies, very impressive. The gassers are always cool, but I'm so busy while we're going. It's nonstop, go. I see all of the cars. I talk to all of the racers, and they just don't stand out quite the way they probably do to photographers. It's just so much on my mind all the time. But I would say Ballard's car is cool, and it's just wild. So that's one of my favorites out there.
That's awesome.
Well, what were some of the route stops that you guys had?
So we left when we left Medford. The first pit stop we had was Nexus Diesel in Brookings, Oregon. And Nexus allows for trailer burnouts in their parking lot. They own their property. And
Nice.
Tony Arneson of Nexus Diesel there, he has sponsored the event all 3 years. So he has always been a pit stop of ours. They do a really good job. Their shop is open and available to any racer that needs it. We make sure they can get down the racetrack early on day one so they can get straight to their shop and open it up and be ready for the crowd. Then once we left there, we went to a new sponsor that Taco Bell, actually. One of our racers, his grandmother owns, I believe, 29 Taco Bells, and she is a hardcore car girl.
That's awesome.
She bought it's like a 70 Super B off the lot, and she still has it to this day.
Wow.
She's also got, I believe, a 65 Belvedere Hemi car, stick shift car that she bought off the lot, and she still has it to this day. So in Taco Bell, all year long, the talk was no burnouts, no burnouts, no burnouts. You know, we love burnouts, but we also want to be as respectful as we can to our sponsors and their properties. Once people started getting there, Grandma said, let's do burnouts. So there was a bunch of burnouts done. In Taco Bell parking lot. Nexus Diesel, tons of burnouts done there. And Joe at Forge Fuels, he had his Pit Viper lights out on the back of the trailer. That's one thing that I don't know what it's like in the Midwest. We don't have very many E85 pumps out here. Right. So Joe and Alan at Forge Fuels, they supply E85 our entire route out of barrels. And
wow.
They're at the racetracks in the morning. They fill people up. They get out of the track early. They go to the pit stop, and then they wait hours upon hours to make sure they can fill everybody up at the pit stops. Sometimes they'll leave some fuel behind if they need to get on the road and they know somebody's coming. But those guys at Forged Fuels, they do the entire route with us. And I couldn't even tell you how many barrels of fuel they sell, but they sell E85 and E98 and supply the entire route. And they've done it all 3 years. It's really, really cool of them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
So then once we got to Woodburn, we raced Coos Bay. We left Coos Bay, and our pit stop was Far West Tire in Coos Bay, small tire and automotive repair shop. And they had a spot set up for burnouts and a cooler out. And it was really strange. Like the owner there, he was way cool. I talked to him a whole bunch earlier in the year. And then once we got there and started running through, he was like, yeah, it's cool. And I said, come on, man, get excited. This is way cool. And he goes, yeah, you got 250 plus cars coming through the parking lot. And he's like, no, it is. It's really cool. And it was just slightly like awkward. And I thought, I don't know, maybe the guy's just
maybe he didn't think about it. Think it would be that much. Yeah. He's like, oh man, this is way more than I intended.
And then the photos kept coming and the burnouts kept coming. And I think they got more excited later in the day. But once we called our day at Coos Bay, I tried to get out of there as early as possible so I could go get to Woodburn and park the trailer and stuff. But so Far West Tire, they were our Coos Bay pit stop. And then we went to Hanson's Machine, and they've got a machine shop there. One of our guys, Stacy Gomez, one of my favorite cars as well. It's a 3rd gen Camaro, nice bright blue. I'm sure you know Stacy's car. He torched the heads and hurt it pretty bad in Woodburn. And he pulled the heads off in the pit area and took them back to Hanson's Machine. They welded them up, surfaced them, and Stacy put it back together. And it turns out he probably broke some pistons and rings, so he couldn't finish the route. But Hanson's Machine's there in Albany, Oregon. They're a pit stop before Woodburn, and they love us too. I mean, we all year long. They're just excited. And
that's too cool.
That was a good one. And then after that, we leave Woodburn, and we didn't have any pit stops between Woodburn and Madras. We tried to get a few on board, and people just didn't quite know, or they just weren't too sure. And Madras is a small town, kind of in the middle of nowhere, high desert Oregon. But I promise you next year we'll have pit stops in Madras, because that town was all about us coming back.
Well, and I think the first time you do something new somewhere, everybody kind of feels like, oh, yeah, we've heard this story before. Some big promoters coming in and going to do something. And then you show up with 200 people and they're like, okay, they're serious.
Yeah. And then once we left Madras, on the way back to Medford, we stopped at O'Reilly's. O'Reilly's they stepped up big and became a big sponsor this year. And I believe they're going to step up really big and potentially jump on at a corporate level next year. Like O'Reilly is really, really behind us. So, and then, before we finish, I will go over a sponsor list. I want to make sure I thank everybody, but first and foremost, Summit Racing Equipment, they're big with you guys and huge with us. I pitched them an idea that was different than anybody had ever pitched them before. And once I explained it, I really laid it out to them. There's Summit is so big, and some of these companies they get people coming with their hand out quite often. I wanted to really focus on ROI for them. So what Summit did for us was they supplied us with a lot of Summit bucks, and we did some really creative things to turn Summit bucks into the cash side of their sponsorship, as well as they provided every one of our racers with 10% discount codes. And then they sent me like 250 extra discount codes. So I was giving them to racers all year long. And I'm essentially, I spoke to Tommy yesterday, and within about 2 weeks, he should have all of our numbers together. Everything that was, anything that was spent this year associated with the Redwood Rally was tracked towards Redwood Rally. Yeah. So at some point we'll get an actual spending report. I mean, I personally know racers that spent between $5,000 and $15,000 on their one car alone all year. And, you compound that by almost 300 cars. I think we did really good for Summit. I wanted to focus on and make sure Tommy and John there knew that my focus was ROI. And that way they can see what the benefit is of actually sponsoring us. Because we really try to make our sponsors feel like it's not that they feel like we do care about them,
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's one of the biggest things. Cause listen, we can't do it without them.
Right. The other one of our other big ones that's been a sponsor of mine personally and support us is Mosier Engineering. I deal with Jeff Anderson there, and one of the things that I pushed to them is we gave away at a raffle, we gave away an M9 rear end housing, just a bare housing this year. That's about $1,000 value. And, Jeff's first approach to that was, well, we'd rather just do $1,000 value worth of stuff. And I said, Jeff, I don't want to go that route. I want to do $1,000 rear end housing, because the guy that needs to outfit that housing is going to spend another $4,000 with you. Whereas if you give me $1,000 worth of Mosier gift cards, maybe I buy some brakes and I buy something and I use $998 worth of it. That's not the goal here. The goal is you give me a part that people need more components for, and then they buy those components from you. And that's what's important to me. Well,
and then at the same time, those folks see the donation from them, and that's their first call is to those.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty
so
cool.
It works out really well. I think we've got a great relationship going with Summit. Mosier, I've always had a good relationship with, but our sponsors, they've really stepped up. And there's a lot of sponsors that don't get mentioned simply because they're our sapling sponsors. Those are a way people, and this is just news info in case you are interested. If anybody out there watching is interested in running the rally next year, it sells out so fast. We do have an option to where you can lock your registration spot in before public registration opens. And that's our sapling sponsorship. And it's not extremely expensive. I won't put any numbers out there right now because we haven't worked into 2026, but it's worked out in our favor a lot. It really helps us put more focus on how to enhance the event rather than working off a shoestring budget. We're able to really put more time, effort, focus into it because we've got, a little bit more capital there to work with. Our payouts, we did really good payouts this year. I don't know if you saw those or not.
I haven't yet. Run through.
Let me open this other computer back up so I can see the spreadsheet. I think Unlimited paid $2,000 to win. Some of it basically had to do with, the caliber of car, and some of it had to do with the number of entries. And of course, I can't find it right now, but we do really have good payouts. I don't know what most of the drag and drives pay, if any. I know there's a lot that don't do any payouts at all, and that's hard for me. I mean, granted, people are spending a lot more money to do the drag and drive event than you can make in a payout for these. But it's important for me to know that somebody can get their entry fee back by winning,
Yeah.
you know. But we played first place for all categories. We paid second place for all categories, and then all third place got a trophy as well.
That's awesome.
Plus, Mosier certs, Summit gift cards, and all sorts of other sponsored products. We raffled off a lot of components like Rodney Adams, Rad Designs, Rad Performance. We raffled off tuning sessions, a turbo, all kinds of cool stuff that the sponsors put up for us to raffle off and give away to people.
That's cool, man. Do you want to run through your sponsor list real quick, and I'll put you up full screen?
Yeah.
Hit
So
it,
our headliner sponsor this year, as I said, Summit Racing Equipment. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, John. If you guys need something, always go to Summit. Our second junior headliner sponsor was the Lemon Law guy, Andrew Weiss. He's from Southern California. And if you are in California and you buy a lemon, you can call Andrew Weiss and he will help you get your money back. And he'll go after the dealership that sold you some piece of junk car that you didn't want in the first place. They're good people. They're funny. They're fun to talk to. So Andrew Weiss, very easy to get a hold of, the Lemon Law guy. Other sponsors, Banks Race Products. They're in Australia. They build really nice self-contained transmission coolers that battery powered, quick connect plug-in. A lot of guys use them in the pro mod world and so forth. I sell them. I'm a dealer. So Banks Race Products. If you want a self-contained external transmission cooler, get a hold of me for that. Olympic Streetcar Shootout. That's Jeremy and Lane up in Washington. That's another drag and drive, a 3-day deal that takes place in Washington. AED Racing. That's Drew Wallace up in Idaho. They sponsored the Redwood Radial class. So we had another one, Mike Wachowski. He sponsored the American Graffiti Naturally Aspirated class, but he didn't want the sponsorship made in his name. He wanted it put in the name of Autism Speaks. So another really important one for us is yesterday, the Redwood Rally made a $1,000 donation to the Autism Speaks Foundation, which does research and development, trying to figure out what's going on with the spectrum and autistic children. Rich All Electric, they sponsored AG Hard Tire. They're a local company here in Yuba City, California. R&J Construction was the sponsor of American Graffiti Magnum class. Summit did Tailgate Racers. Haley Miller Racing, she's the sponsor of Junior Street. Racewife Graphics, that's Jennifer. She sponsored the Speed Queens category. Woody's Towing and Recovery from Idaho. They sponsored our Glory Days Gassers class. Mosier Engineering, they did the 3-pedal stick shift class. MotorFab USA, that's Heather's husband, Luke. He sponsored the Mind Over Matter class. Paul's Family Dentistry in Oregon, Be Happy Children's Dentistry, they sponsored the AG Power Adder class. Dive Bombers Garage, Medford Drag Strip, Multi-Keto Powder Coating, KH Office Works, Sunset Oceanfront Accommodations, T&D Machine. T&D, they supplied, everybody knows T&D. They do rocker arms. T&D Machine was a sponsor this year. They came on really well. Did some cool stuff for us. CP Carrillo, Peered Trucking, Reed's Fuel and Trucking, Nebeker Designs. Tyler Nebeker built 2 race trailers, drag and drive trailers that we raffled off this year. Santana Interior Designs, Rodney Adams at Rad Performance. And my last little bit of the list right here. Nexus Diesel, O'Reilly Auto Parts, Taco Bell, and Always Players Pizza. So if I missed any of you, I'm sorry. I know this segment's run over, and that's probably due to my rambling, but thank you guys very much for having me on. I wish Heather could join. She had some other stuff going on tonight, just didn't have the time to quite squeeze it in, and I didn't want to miss the opportunity.
Yeah, dude, we appreciate you coming on. This was really kind of last minute. We had another guest that was going to be here. That didn't happen. And I'm glad that you were able to take that spot, dude, because it really is good to, again, this is on my list for 2026. I appreciate you taking the time. You've been in here an hour and a half, man. It's been awesome to hear the stories from out there. And I'm coming, whether Eric comes with me or my wife comes with me or one of my kids or whatever. But I'll be there in 2026 for sure.
I'll make sure. So I've got this 66 Dodge Polara convertible out here that actually Woody's towing. They gave me an engine for it because it's got a little oil pressure issue, but I'll make sure it's in tip top shape. You come out next year, and if you don't have something you want to race in, I'll give you something just to mob the rally in.
I'm just plan on me doing that. Just plan on us.
Okay.
Get us a shit box. We need something that's a little questionable, and we'll cruise it for the week.
It's exactly that. And I tell you what, you'll love it. It's a boat. I love it.
That is too cool, man. Well, again, guys, redwoodrallye.com. Find out all kinds of details. I know you've probably already been getting the question, but I'm sure you're already planning for 2026. I think he froze up. Yep. Wow. We talked that long, and it's great.
Sorry, guys, getting a little glitchy here.
Yeah, I was just saying, I bet you're already planning for 2026.
Yeah, it'll be I've got like a dozen people just asking, when can I send sponsor money? You got to let me get a week into this. So
yeah,
I'll be taking sapling sponsors probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks. We will have our route and stuff situated probably by first week in November, and we'll announce at PRI.
That's awesome, man. Well, again, we're going to hang out at PRI. I'm sure you guys will come by the booth and spend some time. We can do some announcements there if you want to, and we'll go from there. We're going to put you backstage. Again, thank you so much, Jesse. Redwood Rally, co-founder and creator out here spending some time with us tonight, man. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Heather. Heather and I, we work real well together, and she's a amazing business partner. You guys would be lucky to get to work with her in the capacity that I do.
Yeah, she's a beast. All right. Well, we'll see you next time. Dude, have fun.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun.
Yeah, great night. I mean, I had Jesse Fox on here, had Jesse Adams on here from Redwood Rally. It was pretty cool. Just want a big shout out again to say thank you to Performer Built Transmissions for their work with us. Best, GM transmission builder on the planet. Have a, it's a 8-second 4L60 and a Camaro. I mean, insane. All right, sir, you'll lead us out?
Absolutely. Appreciate everybody hanging in with us as we ran a little bit long tonight, but it was a good show. So appreciate everybody in here. Thank you to all of our race car friends and, again, our sponsors. Remember, we've got affiliate links. We've got discount codes. If you guys are going to buy products, please check out these companies. And if you need a contact there, reach out to us. We will get you in contact. But we can't do it without all of these great sponsors: Summit Racing Equipment, Deechworks, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cam, J-Wire Solution, AFCO Racing Products, Performer Built Transmissions, Car Chains 3D, Power Tube TV, WAF Racing, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk. Guys, we will see you next week, or probably on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday morning. I think we can put a show together by then. There's tons of information going on right now. So, all right, we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.